And a good Wednesday morning to you, and welcome into the DDC here on ESPN 102.5 The Game. Here McFarland, Willie Donick, Derek Mason with you, Elijah Campbell, manning things at the Hillside Medical Game Studio on what will probably be another rainy Wednesday here in Nashville. Lots of things to get into. Jackie Redmond from NHL Network coming up in 15 minutes. Talk about the Predators' win last night over Minnesota. Next up will be Ottawa tomorrow night. One of 5 more road games left this month, this regular season. So we'll get into all things with Jackie Redmond at 10:15. Looking forward to that conversation. Talk a little NFL draft to start the second hour. Guys, what's going on?
What's happening? Like you said, just another rainy Nashville Wednesday. I was about to say Thursday for some reason, but Wednesday.
Trying to move this week along, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm trying to move it along, man. I got a walkthrough today on my house. I'm gonna see how this goes because it's been pushed back. We pushed it back twice, so I'm always an optimistic guy anyway. So
you are,
yeah. So I'm walking into this thing being very optimistic, but you know, I got a little anger in me.
Directed.
You do? Yeah. It's a little irritation.
You do.
Because sometimes, I never understood, like, when you are a consumer of anything and you're buying something from someone, how dare they get upset with you or anybody in your party when you are, asking questions or just concerned about, things that are going on? How dare do they get mad at you and you're the one that's purchasing it? I don't get that. I've never understood that part, I
don't either.
Yeah. It just, it baffles me.
What are you dealing with?
It's like, it baffles me, man. It's like, I am buying this from you. I'm the one that's paying the money, not you. So why are you, like, irritated at anything? It's like, hey, you're supposed to make the consumer happy, right? If the consumer is not doing, is not going, beyond what, we all agreed upon, which I'm a very reasonable person. I understand. I try to understand both sides. So we will see. I'm trying not to walk in with that, but we will see. I hate confrontation, but I'm not going to shy away from it either. So, there we go.
Well, good luck with that.
I will let you guys know how it goes tomorrow.
Okay. Do you know what happened to me?
What's that?
I'll give my little quirky story right before the show. I can't even say this without laughing. It cracks me up. So my phone has been blowing up. And typically, I don't know how you guys are. Mm-hmm. The people I'm going to answer, I probably got you in my contacts, right? You're in there. So if a name pops up, I'm probably going to answer it. If it doesn't, I'm probably not going to answer it. That's just how I operate because, we all get calls. We don't have any interest in, somehow they've gotten your number and you don't want, not taking telemarketers and all that stuff. Well, my phone has been blowing up the last 10 minutes. By the way, it's ringing again. I don't know this is hilarious, but it's not really hilarious. Like I'm laughing now. Maybe check back in later today. Let's find out if it's still hilarious. Well, this one number is so random numbers. This one number kept calling me back over and over again. So right before the show, I answered it, and he's like, "Is this Darren?" I was like, "Yes." He's like,
Darren, I finally got you.
He's like, I'm calling about the Jeep. I'm like, calling about the Jeep. What Jeep? He goes, the ad you just put out for the Jeep that you're selling? And I'm like, is that a Jeep Commander? He's like, yep. I was like, yeah, we sold that years ago. We sold that like 5 years ago.
Oh, wow.
He goes, well, somebody just posted that ad with your phone number 22 minutes ago. And I was like, what? So my phone's been ringing and ringing, so I don't know what's going on. I don't know how a 5-year-old ad got reposted, but people are calling me about a vehicle we haven't owned in 5 years. So
they probably think it's a really good deal.
Yeah.
Well, apparently,
especially now.
Right. Whoever posted it says, like $1.99 or something. I don't know what they posted it for, but it's a hot commodity.
It was a really good car 5 years ago. Now, I mean, it's really aged well, apparently.
Well, I don't know who's been. I remember who we sold it to, but I mean, I didn't know them personally, but I mean, it's a nice man. I'm sure he's taking care of it, but I have no idea what kind of shape it's in. But whoever reposted it, they must have put it at a really attractive price because my phone has been blowing up the last 15 minutes.
Oh, wow. Well, you might want to, change your voicemail and put in there, hey, listen, if you're calling about that Jeep,
it's gone.
It's gone.
It's gone. In fact, you're right. That's a good idea. During the break, I should change my message to, hey, this is Darren. If you're calling about the Jeep Commander, it's sold. If you're not, leave a message.
Oh,
That's
man.
a really good point, D-Mace. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, sometimes.
If it keeps ringing, I think I may take you up on that.
Because I'm telling you, 5 years ago, it was probably a fair deal that you sold it. Now it's probably, they're thinking like, that is a great deal considering how prices have went up on used cars.
Sure.
Oh, they're probably like, man, he probably couldn't wait to get you on the phone.
And inventory's gone down, so yeah, he's I mean, he was, let's see, what's the word? What was Barry Trott's resiliency? He's been very resilient in his calls, and he finally got me to answer. I mean, it was smart. He kept calling. I was like, who is this that keeps calling me over and over and over again? Same number, so I'm like, hello? He's like, Darren? I'm like, yeah.
I hate
he's
when
like,
people do that.
You still got the Jeep? I'm like, the Jeep? What?
What Jeep?
The Jeep? What are you? I was like, Jeep Commander? Question mark? He's like, yeah. I'm like, sold 5 years ago?
Oh, man.
He's like, well, somebody just posted something 22 minutes ago. I was like, uh-oh. Sorry?
Sorry, it's gone.
Don't have it.
But I hate when people do that, when they call you.
Here's another one calling. Holy moly.
And they just say your first name. This Derek? I'm thinking like, first, who's calling? Don't just say, is this Derek? No. Who is this calling for one? that determines if this is Derek or not.
That's the good part about having a name that's hard to pronounce. They'll say the giveaway is always when I get one of those. Is this William Danuke? I'm like, yeah, you're a telemarketer. Thank you. See you later.
Danuke.
Usually if they say, is this William? I'm like, okay, I know I don't know this person.
Yeah, no one's calling you William.
Yeah.
None of your friends are calling you William.
I have 11 missed calls. By the way, the whole time we've been talking, it's been I have 12 missed calls now because now there's one from Columbia. So somebody's – you're right,
Let me
Derek.
see if somebody posted
I didn't put it
this, man.
together. Like somebody's
Goodness.
put up something ridiculous. Like
Yes.
it's probably like $200 or something.
Wow.
It must be on Facebook or something. I don't know.
I don't even know where it is. Yeah, I don't even –
Because you know how Facebook, they will sometimes they put on your feed like a memory from 5-10 years ago, and you can repost it if you want to.
Right.
Is this a time hop ad?
Exactly.
Remember 5 years ago,
5
that
years
great memory
ago.
when you sold your Jeep?
Exactly.
And we've got Oak Ridge, Tennessee. I
Yeah, they're calling.
I don't know what's going
Yeah, come on,
on.
Darren. You got to change your answer machine, man.
Oh,
You
my
gotta put in your
gosh.
answer
It
machine.
it doesn't stop.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
They want that Jeep.
Corey on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, says, sounds like D-Mace has already got you just made the list ready for Friday.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Let's see. Ryan on our text line says it's a scammer looking. So scammer reported immediately because it's how they start to hack social media accounts. So a lot of people. Oh, Lauren has found it. She said it's free.
It
That's
says
what
It's
the
a
ad-
free
it's
Jeep.
free.
Oh,
That
my
is why people
goodness.
are calling me. Somebody.
Well,
she
that's a
said she
pretty good
found it.
deal.
They posted it for free.
Oh,
pretty good deal.
wow. Goodness.
I don't know why I'm laughing. Like my life is going to be hell today.
They posted. No wonder. I would have called you too.
I don't know what's more surprising, the fact that it got reposted or relisted like that, or the fact that so many people are calling actually believing a Jeep is free.
Yeah.
Exactly.
See, they saw that.
Hey,
was like,
let's check
Jeep,
this out.
It's free. It's got to be free.
You
There's
know
no
that
strings
guy.
attached.
Darren, you know that guy that called you too is at work right now going, yeah, I got the guy on the phone, the free Jeep, and it's a scam, man. It's not for free. He already sold it 5 years ago. Like, what was I doing? I called this guy like 7 times. I finally got him on the phone. Like, he actually thought he had something.
And he's mad at you.
Yeah, he's mad at you.
On our text line, hey, Darren, I'm texting you about your Jeep's extended warranty. Please pick up. Thanks, John the mailman.
Oh, man.
And here's another call. Oh, my gosh. What do I do, guys? I've never had
Where's this
this
guy
happen
from?
before. I don't know. I got to find out.
Change your phone number.
I got to find out. Like, this is crazy. Like, it just
Change your phone number.
The minute it hangs up, a new number calls. It's unbelievable. So they
I wonder
posted
who
it for free.
reposted it.
Like to your point, like who's? I think Elijah, you just jumped in and said, like, who really posts, on anything you're selling? There's another Columbia, Tennessee number. Who posts that they're selling their vehicle for? They're not selling it; they're just giving it away. Like, how many times do you see that post?
Nah.
Hey,
Never.
Jeep Commander,
You don't?
free. Just come pick it up.
You wouldn't smell a rat when you, hey, is this really?
That's how people get kidnapped.
Yeah.
Exactly. Nothing's for free, man.
Hey,
Not
just
too
come
many
pick it
things in
up.
this
It's
world for
free.
free.
Nothing in life is for free.
Yeah, don't worry about anything. Just come on in. The door will be open.
Don't bring a cell phone
Keys.
or anything that can track you.
The keys will be on the table. Come on in. Don't worry. All right, we'll come back. Jackie Redmond from NHL Network. I don't believe she's called me. She has not seen the ad, probably. But we'll talk to her. We'll talk a little bit about this.
Everybody else has, but just not Jackie.
I think apparently everyone has seen the ad but Jackie. But we'll make her aware that there is a free Jeep Commander here in town. We'll come back, talk Preds with her next here on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
So, what is Jared Stillman going to say this afternoon?
You got to play if you want to earn $14.6 million next year.
Oh, brother, here we go.
But I'm done on investing money in dudes that can't get on the field.
Tune in to Stillman and Company, weekday afternoons from 2 to 6.
This is some serious stuff right here.
Delivered by TriStar Moving on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Watch live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube.
The 2022 Major League Soccer season is officially here, and Nashville SC's new home, Geodis Park, is nearly complete. Don't miss Nashville SC's home opener May 1st. Secure your season tickets now. Come on and grab a seat at NashvilleSC.com/22ticks.
This segment of ESPN 102.5 The Game is brought to you by Train Heating and Cooling Systems. Tested, retested, engineered, and re-engineered to keep up with you. We run together. Visit traininfo.com to find your local independent train dealer. Traininfo.com. It's hard to stop a train.
Spring has sprung, which means it's time to renew your home with Social Furniture. It's their Spring Fling sale, where all furniture is up to 50% off. That's right, up to 50% off on top name brands such as Serta, Sealy, Simmons, Caracol, Bernhardt, and Woodhouse. At Social Furniture, you'll find new bedroom furniture, mattresses, and sofas, all up to 50% off. Spring into Social Furniture today on Charlotte Avenue in West Nashville. Shop local, shop social. Social Furniture is a proud supporter of your Nashville Predators.
Smokeville Smoke Shop in Hendersonville wants to invite you, your friends, and family to their huge 420 blowout event. Live music, on-site food and dessert trucks, discounts store-wide, and a free dab bar. Smokeville Smoke Shop's 420 event will be held at their flagship store located at 699 West Main Street in Hendersonville on Wednesday, April 20th. Visit them on Instagram at Smokeville Smoke Shop for more event details and to take advantage of additional special offers. Smokeville Smoke Shop for all your smoking needs.
For years, you've known Genesis as the premier jeweler here, where you can always find the most sought-after brands in fashion and bridal jewelry. Genesis carries the best of the best, brands that others aren't even allowed to carry. But now, Genesis takes it to a whole new level. with a spectacular collection of luxury pre-owned Rolexes. If you've ever dreamed of owning the world's most revered brand, you owe it to yourself to get to Genesis now and see watches people wait years to get. Luxury pre-owned Rolex Submariners, Hulks, Daytonas, Batmans, and so many others. We've scoured the country hand-selecting only the best for our showcases. The most popular models, the most well-cared for, the ones most in demand. So don't wait any longer. Reward yourself or someone you love today with a luxury pre-owned Rolex from Genesis. It's just another way Genesis Diamonds does whatever it takes to bring you only the world's best. Genesis Diamonds and luxury pre-owned Rolexes in Green Hills and Cool Springs.
You know it's going to happen, and when your car needs service or repair, remember Mitchell's Mr. Transmission on Gallatin Road, just north of Briley Parkway. Now here's Jim Mitchell.
At Mitchell's Mr. Transmission, we also offer free towing with any major repairs. If your vehicle has a breakdown and you should need any type towing, towing is available through Dad's Towing Service. Dad's is a professional towing company in Nashville that provides all types of towing and recovery, 24 hours a day.
You know it's going to happen, and when your car needs service or repair, remember Mitchell's Mr. Transmission on Gallatin Road, just north of Briley Parkway.
Interact with Darren, Donick, and Chase. Call or text the show at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
Keep my hands on myself.
Back here on the DDC on this Wednesday morning, crazy Wednesday morning. Darren McFarland, Willie Donick, Derek Mason with you. Guys, before we go to our very special guest, as my phone just rings and rings and rings, I found the ad. Free Jeep Commander. Free 2009 Jeep Commander Black needs engine work and new tires. It lists my number. Ask for Darren and call between the hours of 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. No voicemails, just call until I answer. Thanks. That's the ad.
Wow.
Now you know when our phone hasn't stopped. I now have 26 missed calls since we jumped on the air.
Sounds like
do
fun.
Do you know who posted it or reposted it?
I'm gonna have to get. It's Craigslist.
Oh,
so I'm obviously have to take care of that. Yeah, that explains a lot. All right, let's go to Jackie Redmond, NHL Network. Jackie, how we doing? You need a Jeep
She's
Commander?
not calling to come on the show, Darren. She's calling about the Jeep.
Listen, I'm not even joking, boys. I actually am in the market for a new vehicle.
Well, I sold it 5 years ago.
Bad boy.
I sold it 5 years ago, so I don't know what's happened, but somebody has reposted this ad right before the show, and my phone hasn't stopped ringing about my free Jeep Commander that I sold 5 years ago, and to call during show hours. And don't leave a voicemail. Yeah. Just keep calling me.
Listen, I can respect the prank. I really do. I feel like there was a lot of investigative work, I'm sure, that had to go into making that happen, whoever the culprit is behind this. But it doesn't sound like that Jeep can get me from Jersey to Connecticut twice a week. So
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, Jackie, but yeah, that Jeep is not going to get you from point A to point B. The Predators got from point A to point B last night. Nice win over Minnesota, 6-2. Had a playoff feel. It was nasty. A lot of fighting. Ryan Johansson got his first hat trick. But this is what you get this time of year, right? Final month of the season, final push, and it's starting to feel like it, and the Predators have a really tough schedule down the stretch.
Yeah, I would say the last couple of weeks we've been feeling almost night after night that intensity just continuing to slowly build as we get closer and closer to the postseason. And, I've been paying especially close attention to the Predators of late because I'm doing their game coming up here this weekend against Pittsburgh. But, yeah, you're right. We definitely have that playoff feel and that intensity. And I like the way the Preds look right now. I like the way that they have sort of formed this. And I'll ask you guys because you guys are so much more in tune with the team than I am. I feel like they've really solidified their identity as a team this year. And I feel like that's something that they've been missing in the past is like, who are the Nashville Predators outside of a team that has solid goaltending? 5 years ago, you would say, well, they've got the best blue line in the NHL. That's 5 years ago now, 6 years ago. So now I feel like they've reestablished who they are, and it's part of why they've been successful this year.
Yeah, I had the time frame you're talking about. I had a Jeep Commander back in that time frame, so that's how long it's been, Jackie. By the way, real quick,
back to the Jeep.
it all comes back to the Jeep. Real quick, before we get back into this team, how was speaking of atmospheres? How was the atmosphere down in Dallas this week? And you were working WrestleMania, right?
I was. Honestly, it was so awesome. I mean, just from a production standpoint, to see what it takes to put on a show of that magnitude, to have like 70,000 plus people in Cowboy Stadium on back-to-back nights, and then to put on the show that they put on, I was just blown away by the production of it all. And then to have Stone Cold be the sort of center of it all, to be the highlight reel that he was. I mean, that was what introduced me to WWE, was that era of, The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, the Hardy Boys, Lita. That was my era, that Attitude Era. So I felt like I was 10 again, watching Stone Cold smash beers together and chug them. So it was a blast. I had so much fun. But I will say, you step away from hockey for 4 days, you come back and feel like you know nothing. I was like, oh my gosh, I have so much catching up to do. So yesterday was a bit of a ride. Let's just say that on NHL Now.
Well, if you're still doing that job in 2026, hopefully you'll be back in Nashville at the brand new stadium. You were at Nissan Stadium, but at our brand new enclosed stadium that will be hosting a WrestleMania, but that'll be in 2026. So.
Well, listen, hopefully that's not that far away. So hopefully I'll be able to stick around that long.
So how do you see this playing out? I mean, that's everybody would like for it to be easy. It's easy in the East. Everything has been solidified for, I feel like, months or maybe the entire season. I don't know. That's what it feels like. Not in the West. This thing is probably coming down to the final week. Heck, it may come down to the final day. How do you see this final push in the Central and, more importantly, the 8 teams in the Western Conference?
Well, I think in terms of, Nashville's perspective, I think a lot of this is going to come down to those games in hand, right? I know them and Nashville and Dallas have those games in hand. They have to take advantage of those because all of a sudden, Vegas is playing pretty well. So I like the chances for the Predators to hang on to a spot because of those games in hand. So as long as they can control their own fate, that doesn't really matter what anyone else does. And we see this every year. We talk about games in hand, which are great. But if you throw those games on the floor and you don't do anything with them, then it's not necessarily a good thing. So I like the situation for the Predators because they still, as much as they would like other teams to help them out, they're not relying on that. And that bodes well for them and the Stars.
Jackie, a quick question for you before I pass over to Willie. Last night's game, it seems like to me that Minnesota was more inclined to show Nashville their toughness than actually trying to win the game because they started off the game and it was like they were more inclined to fight and show their toughness because to them it seems like they already got their playoff position set. To me, it was like they were more inclined to fight and show their toughness rather than to win a game.
Yeah, and I think that comes back to experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like as good as the Minnesota Wild has been, and we're going to see this in the first round. We see it every single year. There are teams that fall into the trap of focusing on the wrong things, focusing on proving a certain area of their game instead of leaning into their strengths. Getting pulled into the drama, the inevitable adversity that every team will face on the road to a Stanley Cup. So I think we saw a little bit of that last night from the Minnesota Wild, but it's interesting because we had Chris Mason on the show yesterday, and he talked about how the Preds have generally of late fared well against the Minnesota Wild, and part of the reason he felt that was the case was because they were physical. And Minnesota went out at the deadline and addressed their physicality a little bit. They're tougher to play against this year, just generally speaking, in terms of their identity. So maybe that's something going into the game where they felt, we're not going to let the Preds push us around. But instead of, adding that physicality, that toughness as an element of their game, they leaned into it so much that they forgot what's made them successful in the first place. So there could be that at play, but hopefully they'll, well, maybe not for the Preds, hopefully, but for Minnesota, that's a game they might want to look back on and make sure that they don't fall into a similar trap in the postseason where we talk a lot, right, about physicality and toughness and not getting pushed around and sort of imposing your will on the opponent. It's important, but if it's the sole focus of what you're doing out there, then you end up, losing who you are as a team. And I think that's probably a little bit of what happened to the Wild last night.
Really interesting thing to watch, no question. Jackie Redmond is with us from the NHL Network. Jackie, before we let you go, I want to get your take on the latest. Roman Josi actually had 2 games where he didn't have a point after 13 in a row with at least one, a couple of 4-point games in there, and then last night bounces back with 3 points. It's a heck of a race right now for the Norris Trophy. I know you guys are watching it daily there. Give us your latest, because I know you've done a lot of research on this, as you try to examine Roman Josi versus Cale Makar.
Listen, I have been chomping at the bit to talk about this. I was just thinking, they better not ask me about Roman Josi. We got to talk about Jost. We got to. And to me, like, it's the Norris is his award to lose, and I'm starting to hear people throw his name out as someone that should be in the conversation with the Hart as well. And I do agree with that sentiment. I don't know that he should win the Hart, but I think his name definitely deserves to be in that conversation. But a couple of weeks ago, I did a Norris power rankings, and I had Josi at the top of my list. And, it's no disrespect to Cale Makar. Cale Makar is having an unbelievable season as well. But when you look at Roman Josi's entire game, it's hard to deny the impact that he's had on the Predators. And, I kind of made my proclamation that, to me, Roman Josi deserves to win the Norris if he continues the season that he's having. And I got a lot of flack from Avs fans who were not happy with me. But I found it interesting that the counter-argument to everything that I had to say, and it wasn't just about the points, although, pushing for a 100-point season is something we haven't seen since the early 90s. Even if he hits 90 points, that's something that we haven't seen in so long. You have to respect that. And, he's got a bit of a gap over Cale Makar. But outside of the points, it's everything else that he does. His underlying numbers are solid. His possession numbers are good. He controls zone exits, zone entries. It feels like so much of what Nashville does runs through Roman Josi. And he's logging 25 minutes a night or something around that. And the counter that I got from a lot of Avs fans, and I want your guys' take on this, was plus minus. I was like, is that really?
Oh, come on.
Come on. That's 1980s right there. Come on. Colorado didn't have a team in the 1980s, or it was the Colorado Rockies in the 1980s. Come on.
Yeah, I was like, and it wasn't just one person. I mean, there were so many people in the replies on Twitter that were like, oh, but look at Cale Makar's plus minus. It blows Roman Josi's out of the water. And I'm like, first of all, like, plus minus can never be the great separator of, like, who should win something and who shouldn't. And on top of that, like, that's such a team influence stat. And I think we can all agree that the Colorado Avalanche, who are very solidly in first place, are not the same team offensively as the Nashville Predators, who have to work a little harder for their offense. And so for me, that's just a crazy argument to throw out there, because while Cale Makar influences the Avs and is a big part of what they do offensively, he does benefit from being on the ice all the time with such a deep forward group offensively, whereas the Nashville Predators forward group doesn't quite have the depth, obviously, that the Colorado Avalanche have. So to compare that, to me, is just, I haven't said this in a long time, but absolute baloney. So it is
now spell it, Jackie.
It's Roman Josi. It's Roman Josi all day for me. And, I've read a lot about Roman Josi. I've interviewed him a few times recently as well, and he just seems like a salt-of-the-earth kind of guy. And, I'm happy for him because he's killing it, and I think he's a big, big, big reason why the Predators find themselves in a playoff spot this season, and why we've seen Johansson and Duchesne have the seasons that they have had as well. So for me, it's him all day.
They're two special players. They're two elite defensemen. But if your argument or counter argument is plus minus, like, wow, like you got to do better than that. Come on, two elite defensemen.
Yeah, go find the video. You look at the replies. You'll see it. You'll see it there a lot.
Hey, we always enjoy our chats with you. Good luck finding the vehicle. I don't have a free one for you, but good luck finding one, and we'll talk to you down the road.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
All right, you do the same. Jackie Redmond from NHL Network. Good stuff from her, as always. We'll continue the discussion. Also, there's been some funny text we need to get to. Don't forget you can watch Jackie on NHL Network today. NHL Now is the show, and I watch it a lot, and I know a lot of you do. It starts at 3 o'clock today. So check it out. It's a really, really good show. Usually it's her and EJ Raddick, and they do a fantastic job. We'll come back. More on the other side. ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Tune in every Wednesday at 4:30 p.m. for Nashville's own Jason Fitz with Jarrett Stillman and company. Fitz started his sports talk career right here on 102.5 The Game, and now he anchors shows for ESPN. Jason Fitz is brought to you by Blood Assurance. Give blood. Give local. Give life.
Willie Donick here for Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville. Proud to announce that they have won the Top Gun Award for the best Pella sales organization in the U.S. They have the best culture, best customer satisfaction, and best growth in the business. To celebrate, Pella is offering their amazingly affordable products at 0% financing with no payments for 12 months. Do you need new doors or windows? I suggest you shop with Nashville's Pella experts at Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville. Go to PellaofNashville.com.
Make plans with the Preds. Whether it's a night out with friends, a date night with that special someone, or a work outing, it's the ticket package for you. Introducing the new Hockey Hall Pass presented by Assembly Food Hall, complete with 2 tickets to a Nashville Predators game and a $30 Assembly Food Hall gift card. Visit NashvillePredators.com/Hall Pass to buy yours now. Secure your Hockey Hall Pass today to receive this incredible value. That's NashvillePredators.com/Hall Pass. That's NashvillePredators.com/Hall Pass.
Hey, Robbie Stanley here, and golf's first major is a tradition unlike any other, and now you can bet on who you think will go home with a green jacket at Augusta on FanDuel Sportsbook. Right now, new customers can get 30-1 odds on 2015 champ Jordan Spieth, 4-time major winner Rory McIlroy, or 2020 champ Dustin Johnson to make the cut at Augusta. That's right, if any of those players make the cut, you win big. I like Dustin Johnson not only to make the cut, I like Dustin Johnson to win this tournament, but you can take it any way you want to take it. See for yourself why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook and take a swing at betting the first major. Just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app using promo code ROB to get 30-1 odds on Jordan Spieth, Rory McIlroy, or Dustin Johnson to make the cut at Augusta. Once again, that promo code is ROB. FanDuel Sportsbook, official betting operator of the PGA Tour. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. New users only. Must wager in designated offer market. A max bet of $5. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Got a gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
Attention veterans of Middle Tennessee. Little Guys Movers wants to put your hard-earned skills and leadership talent to work with your very own Little Guys Movers franchise. Be your own boss and build a team with standards as high as your own, and all while serving your community with the same hustle that you served your country. Use your existing 401k to invest in yourself. Financing options are available. Start a fulfilling, profitable new chapter of your life as a member of a team with 30-plus years of growth and good times at LittleGuysFranchise.com. That's LittleGuysFranchise.com.
Houston Clinic Orthopedics wants to thank their patients for voting them the #1 orthopedic practice in the Nashville Scene Poll for 3 years in a row. Their physicians specialize in spine, joint replacement, knee, hip, upper extremity, and other orthopedic conditions. At Houston Clinic Orthopedics, they adhere to all CDC guidelines for the patient's and staff safety. To experience world-class orthopedic care and see a list of all physicians, visit their website at tn.houston.com and book your appointment online today.
Hit City is back. Play ball.
Driven in the air, high and deep left field. That's gone.
As your Nashville Sounds continue their series against the Durham Bulls.
Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Sounds win.
Coverage starts at 6:20 on your home for Nashville Sounds baseball. ESPN 94.9 and the Game Nashville app.
Hey Nashville, this is Mookie Betts. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Thank you, Mookie. Good stuff, Jackie Redmond, NHL Network, back here on the DDC. Someone on the text line says, someone's getting you back for last week saying you're giving away Vandy, Tennessee tickets. Oh, that was on Friday.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, somebody's getting you back.
Maybe so. Gator Tim says on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHunter.com, Darren, it feels like Elijah did this because sometimes you give away Preds tickets to caller 27.
Wow.
I'm actually kind of mad I didn't think of something like this.
It's somebody
There's
you know.
levels to this.
It's somebody you know, Darren.
Well, a lot of people on the text line are blaming Stillman, so they are saying Jared did it.
I'm just going to say it's somebody you know, Darren.
You think?
Oh, yeah, I think it is. Not that I know who it is, but I think it's somebody you know, because I don't think somebody you don't know would say, hey, listen, call when he's between these hours
of course, that's
and
very
everything
much.
else. Yes.
Yeah. Tom in Nashville says the ad should have read, "We'll trade potato cakes for a Jeep Commander." Well, how do you find potato cakes? Tell me how you find them. Apparently, some Arby's. Someone said that Buck Rising posted that, so I don't know. Somebody was saying the competition's getting you. I don't know. So good stuff. Jackie, that was, it is going to be a fun race. Let's talk about last night's game because there's a lot to digest. And that I thought Phil Tomasino was outstanding. I've been saying for weeks, probably 3 weeks, that Tomasino should be moved up. He was moved up, and he produced. I thought he played an outstanding game. He had 3 points. And I think personally, and I know, all things change and nothing is ever set in stone, but I hope they give him, a chance to keep playing in the top 6. I think he's deserved it. Like I said, I've been saying this for probably 3 weeks pretty consistently that Tomasino needs to be moved up. And last night he got that opportunity, and he produced. Of course, that line was really, really good. Overall, really good game by the Predators.
Yeah, it was. Watching it, as I brought up the question to Jackie, for one, special teams was great. It seemed they got off on the hot note that they wanted to get off on. They scored first. They controlled the game. But I think Minnesota, it just seemed like they were more thinking about, hey, let's show Nashville that we can be tough rather than, actually playing the game and try to win the game. And that's the problem you run into when, the perception is one team is tougher than you are. Then you go out and you go get a few players, and then all of a sudden you got to try to show how tough you are. And that's not your game. The Predators can be that way because that's their game. They can be physical, but they also can play the finesse game. They can play both. Minnesota can't play both without sacrificing. They can't play one without sacrificing the other. And it seemed like last night they tried to play one way, and it didn't work.
I thought it was a big factor in the game, and I do think there's no doubt that the Wild wanted to show this new thing that they did at the trade deadline. And look, since the trade deadline, they've been awesome. They went 9-0-1 coming into last night. So I think they wanted to flex their muscles a little bit. They had been beaten twice by the Predators up in Minnesota, and I think they wanted to show they have this new layer to their game. And I thought that was a great job by Nashville to be ready for that and say, okay, you want to try to match us in that, we'll show you that this has been part of our game, and we thrive in a game like that. That was a really, really important dynamic, I think, early in the hockey game. And then the other part, of course, was the start. Nashville came out, they made plays on their power play, and they were able to get the lead and dictate the play. And I'll tell you what, Minnesota did not go away. It would have been easy for Minnesota to say, we got our playoff spot pretty much locked in. This isn't our night. We'll just look forward to the next game. They kept pushing, and I never felt really secure about it until there were about 6 or 7 minutes left. And even then, until Matt Duchene scored that goal, I wasn't totally comfortable because by the end of the night, they had 49 shots. It's really hard to contain that Minnesota team. But, Derek, I think you really hit on a big dynamic. Bill Guerin, I don't think, made any secret about it at the trade deadline. He's old school. He's got that balance. He was a really good, skilled player, but he appreciates the toughness in the game. And so he felt his team was a little bit light in that area, and he went out and got a couple of guys, and those guys were involved in the fights last night.
Yep, they were. Let's go to our phone line driven by WilsonCountyHunter.com. Bicycle Boy, what's up?
Good morning, fellas. I got 2 questions. One, Willie, you just kind of answered. I just didn't get all the aggression on the first part of the game, especially 2 fights for Borowiecki. I didn't know if that was left over from the last 2 games when we played them up there or what, but, you know, I also thought, well, maybe this was just Minnesota coming out trying to prove that they're just as tough as we are. So that's the first question. The second one, am I the only one that has noticed that Ekholm appears to have taken a lesson out of the Roman Josi playbook and has really improved getting through the neutral zone and is carrying the puck into the offensive zone and going deep in the zone and making plays. I mean, I don't recall him doing it that much before. So there's my questions, fellas.
Good question.
He just had a 3-point game recently.
Yeah, he's always had that ability. Some of it, I think, depends on who his defensive partner is. But, yeah, I don't know if that's just something that they tried to reemphasize with him recently, because he kind of went through a long stretch where he wasn't getting a lot of points. But he's a guy that I've always felt like has the skill to chip in with some offensive numbers. Not on the level of Roman Josi, but he's a complete defenseman for sure. And as far as Borowiecki and maybe some history there, I don't know that there's a whole lot. I think what we just discussed before is the biggest factor, but Borowiecki's been out for a while. I think he probably want to reassert himself, throw himself back in there and get that edge to his game because he hasn't played much, really. Remember, he came back very briefly, but he's missed pretty much since the All-Star break. He's missed all but a handful of games, so he's trying to get his groove back. So I think that's one way he tries to, just throw himself into the deep end. But also remember, his partner has been Matt Benning for most of the year, and there was that cross-check up in Minnesota to Matt Benning's ribcage that knocked Benning out for a few weeks. I don't know if that was in the back of anybody's mind. You just never know about these things.
Ekholm had 5 hits last night. He second on the team. Chino had 6. Also had 5 block shots, which was tied for the lead with Dante Fabro. Fabro and Ekholm were sacrificing the body for sure last night. 2 more points for Ekholm. Like I said, he just recently had a 3-point game at home. And so I think that was, maybe the Philadelphia game? I can't remember which home game it was, but it was recently. Had a 3-point game. So, yeah, I mean, look, they're going to have to play like this. And I know there is a school of thought from a lot of fans that, maybe these tough games is what the Predators need. I think there is a certain mindset that they play. I've seen this a lot, from Preds fans. Oh, they play down to their competition. They play up to their competition. So, well, you better hope that's the case because their schedule's really tough here in the final 13 games. And so maybe this is an indicator after last night. Ottawa tomorrow, but then over the weekend, Florida here at Pittsburgh. So no tiptoeing through the tulips this weekend. It is going to be 2 very, very hard hockey games. We'll continue the discussion. On the other side, we'll also talk NFL draft to begin the second hour. But first, Willie, you've got a word about Lone Pronto.
All right, yeah, let's tell you about Lone Pronto because they've got a lot going on right now. And at this time of the year, hey, look, it's April. It's tax time. You probably are doing a little bit more thinking about your finances, short-term and long-term, than you might otherwise during the year. So what Lone Pronto wants to have out there for you, if you've got the thought of moving, maybe moving up to that, quote, dream house, it's hard right now in this area. We know how it is. It's hard to sell a Jeep unless you give it away for free. But, hey, house prices are crazy right now, crazy high. Rates are moving up. So here is what Lone Pronto presents to you as a move that could be good for you. Refinance your current home, turn that equity you have into cash, and transform your current house. Add a new kitchen, a new bathroom, a pool, something outside. Lone Pronto has got awesome ways of helping you. They're the leaders in fast and easy home refis. They can help you unlock that equity you have and do some amazing things. Think about it. Your home's value is up. So instead of wasting all that on an overpriced new house, convert the equity into cash for the home makeover. Now you can have your dream home. For example, a local couple did it. They got $200,000 out and they reinvested in their home. Hardwood floors, new outdoor living space, a swimming pool with a spa. All these things could be what your own vision is. And you get a home office, whatever you might want to put in there. And you never have to move. Now you have your dream home. So call Lone Pronto and let them help you. Lone Pronto, 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780. Ask about all the ideas they can do for you. LoanPronto.com is the website. 499-5780, equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781, subject to lender approval.
From Fox 17 News, this is a Code Red weather alert.
I'm Fox 17 News Code Red meteorologist Dan Guthrie. Scattered showers and thunderstorms will move through the mid-state today. Some of those could be strong to severe, mainly this afternoon and early evening.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Spring into savings at Electronic Express. Get up to 40% off the latest 4K TVs from Samsung, LG, Sony, Hisense, TCL, and more. That's not all. Get huge savings in every department like computers and gaming, smart home, housewares, mattresses, and more. Plus, save up to 40% on all appliances with up to 36 months free financing. Shop in-store or online with free express delivery on most items. Shop locally owned and family operated at Electronic Express. We make it happen.
Hey y'all, it's Caroline Fenton, and I want to tell you about my friends over at 312 Pizza Company. 312 Pizza is my favorite place in town. It's family owned and operated, bringing you a slice of Chicago to Nashville. 312 Pizza Company specializes in deep dish pizza, thin crust pizza, and all things Chicago style, always made from scratch using secret family recipes passed down generation to generation. 312 Pizza is open every day except for Tuesday and is located in Germantown with dine-in, takeout, and curbside available. Call 615-730-7888 or head to 312pizzaco.com to order. 312 Pizza Company, Nashville's authentic Chicago pizzeria.
Cutting the price of your wireless bill feels good. Really good. Actually, it feels great. You should try it out. So cut your bill by switching to Straight Talk Wireless. Now offering our $45 Silver Unlimited plan with 5 gigabytes of hotspot and nationwide 5G on America's largest, most dependable networks. The $45 Silver Unlimited plan from Straight Talk. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
A month equals 30 days. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary.
Meshing journalism.
They are 2 scores behind you. The math says that increases your chances of winning.
With sports fandom.
I stayed up till 1:30 in the morning, just emotionally numb from Titans and Packers.
And sarcasm.
You guys are the worst.
Robbie Stanley and Joe Rexrode are Robbie and Rexrode. No duh. Weekday mornings from 6 to 10. Brought to you by Little Guys Movers on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Watch live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. If you've missed any of today's show, just search Darren, Donick, and Chase on Apple, Spotify, or on your favorite podcast platform.
You can watch us streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook every single day. Our video streaming brought to you by the law offices of Amanda Gentry. Back here on the DDC, Darren McFarland, Willie Donick, Derek Mason with you, Elijah Campbell, manning the board at the Hillside Medical Game Studio. Predators get it done 6-2 last night over Minnesota as the race continues. It is hot and heavy. Colorado's going to run away with this thing. They're the best team in hockey, although Florida, you talk about a team that's never out of it. Last night down 5-1 at home to Toronto. They have the most comebacks this season, down 3 or more goals in the league, and it's really not even close. And they came back and won in OT 7-6. Pretty amazing. They're 29-6 at home this year.
We've been talking about how goal scoring is up. That's the buzz around the league, is you got these explosive offensive teams, and you now have this happening. I mean, if this happened once a season in the past, you'd be amazed. But now it's happened a few times, a team down by 4. Like you said, they've done it twice. So I think overall that's something the fans like, right? You want the game to not be over just because a team falls behind. It's still a special thing, but it's possible. Whereas in the past, it's like, game over. Down 3-0, first period, it's over. Like last night, even though the Predators were up 4-1 at one point, did you ever think it was over? I didn't.
Well, I thought it was over once the second period, after the second period was done. Just because how Nashville,
you had more faith than me.
Well, just because how they were playing, how Nashville was playing,
yeah,
and how UC was in net. That's why I figured.
Well, he was awesome.
Unbelievable, yeah.
And that's the thing. That's the double-edged sword. is I love how they played. For the first time in a while, I really felt like they were taking the game to the opposition. They were on their game. But they did still give up some prime chances. You know, I always look. Sport Logic is what we use on our broadcast to sort of gauge the level of chances, the number, the grade. Minnesota, by the end of the night, had a lot of shot attempts. Darren, you mentioned the block shots. They put a lot of heat on the Predators. They got a lot of quality. There were some breakdowns. There was breakaways. And UC Saros had to be really good. The good thing is he was.
He was 47 saves good. Minnesota currently in second with 91 points. St. Louis with 88 points in third. The 2 wild card spots currently held down by Nashville with 84 points, Dallas with 83 points, Vegas on the outside looking in with 82. Now, the advantage Nashville and Dallas has on Vegas is they've got two games in hand on the Golden Knights. So we'll see. Again, I think this thing is coming down to the very end. I just don't know how you can get away from it. I just think it's set up for a whole lot of drama in the final week. Heck, it may come down to a lot of drama on the final day or two. That's how tight this is going to be, and I don't see anybody. I don't see anybody fading, because there's been times when you thought Vegas didn't have it. Well, even with all the bodies out of the lineup, they haven't gone away. We thought there for a while Dallas was going to be sellers at the trading deadline. They didn't sell. They hung in there, and they've remained hot. So and just obviously St. Louis and Minnesota are not going away, but. Yeah, it's just Edmonton. Remember their struggles early on, but they've got things going, and looks like they're good. They're going to be fine. But it's going to be high drama. I like these games. I'll be curious to see how they follow up a game like this tomorrow night against Ottawa. Back to one of those non-playoff teams, right? A team that they just saw. But you won't get that this weekend, right? You're going to get that one game against Ottawa, and then it's right back to 2 really, really good teams in Florida and Pittsburgh. So this is, again, a huge week. I thought that really, when you think about it, they had 4 power play goals. I mean, they didn't, but, I mean, the other one, the Tomasino goal was right as the power play had just expired. So they were just really, really good on the special teams. I don't know. I just didn't have the same feeling as you, Willie. I felt like they were – I felt like they were the better team. I felt like they were
I thought they were the better team.
I thought they were dialed in, and I don't know. They were playing their game, and I didn't think this goal
I don't
here.
know. I felt that they were the better team, but you just got done mentioning, though, 4-goal comebacks by explosive offenses. Minnesota is in the top 5 of goal scoring. So
that's Coach Willie.
They have
coming
the
out,
capability. Coach Willie was on guard. The guard was up.
Well, the reason why I felt, after the second period, because how, again, it goes back to how Minnesota started off the game. They were more they wanted to show Nashville how tough they were, rather than trying to win the game. Now, if they were in Nashville's situation, maybe they would have played a little different. But I just thought they went out there with another agenda. And the agenda wasn't necessarily to, hey, let's go out there and win the game. Their agenda to me was, hey, let's go out there and beat them in fighting and show them that we're tough, that we can match their physicality. You just can't all of a sudden turn that off when you go into the game thinking that way. That's why it was great that Nashville just continued to do what they were doing, and they were in control of the game regardless of how many shots Minnesota got on goal.
Yep. I'll tell you what. Let's do this. Let's give away a pair of tickets to see the Preds and Sharks next Tuesday at Bridgestone Arena. But this is what you have to do. They had 3 power play goals in the first period. That's the first time they've had 3 power play goals in a period since what year? What year was the last time?
Man.
Just the calendar year.
Again,
the
with
last
the years,
time they
man.
had 3
These
power play
questions.
goals. Yeah, well,
Well,
we're
hey,
not just
ain't
you wanna
giving away
do
nothing.
Right,
Just,
here. Give away Preds tickets here.
Tough.
Caller 3.
Exactly.
Woo! I mean, earn it. How about earn it?
Willie?
Jeez, participation guy. We were just handing out certificates to everybody. You get tickets. You get tickets.
We're not Oprah,
you were there.
okay?
You get tickets. How about you earn it? A little hard work. Let's work for it. Come on. 615-737-1025. That's our phone line driven by WilsonCountyHunter.com. That's where Elijah Campbell is standing by at our Hillside Medical Game Studio. When was the last time the Predators had 3 power play goals in a single period? What year? Just the calendar year. When did that happen? Answer that, and you've got tickets to see the Preds and Sharks next Tuesday at Bridgestone Arena. I'm just not going to give this stuff away.
Come on, Willie. You know better than that.
Come on, man. It's work. Let's
Willie,
roll up our
gotta
sleeves.
Work
and
hard,
today.
Coach Willie. You know about that.
Golly.
Just can't
Don't
give it to
say,
him.
whatever you do, don't say 1997. There were no Predator games played in 1997.
I will give that
before
hint.
they
That is wrong.
Yeah.
That is right. If you guess
The first eligible
1997,
year
that's
would be
wrong.
1998.
So it's not 1992.
Nope.
Nope, you can't go.
Correct.
Unless you're talking about, the Toronto Maple Leafs or, the teams that existed back then. But we're talking Preds. Preds history starts in 1998.
Yeah. And we're not grading on a curve. I know Willie's in the past joked like, man, I'd love for you to be my teacher. Great. We're not grading on a curve like, oh, that year's close enough. No, you got to get the year. So do that, and you'll be at that Pred Sharks game next Tuesday. We'll come back and talk a little NFL draft. Looking forward to this because, oh, by the way, it's just around the corner. Emory Hunt, CBS. We'll do that to start hour number 2. That's next on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Spring has sprung, which means it's time to renew your home with Social Furniture. It's their Spring Fling sale, where all furniture is up to 50% off. That's right, up to 50% off on top name brands such as Serta, Sealy, Simmons, Caracol, Bernhardt, and Woodhouse. At Social Furniture, you'll find new bedroom furniture, mattresses, and sofas, all up to 50% off. Spring into Social Furniture today on Charlotte Avenue in West Nashville. Shop local, shop social. Social Furniture is a proud supporter of your Nashville Predators.
Finding the right person for the job isn't easy. Just ask someone who hired a lounge singer to be their office receptionist.
Hello, this is Mickey Marquis, and you've reached the office of Doug & Associates. Thank you very much. Catch me Tuesday nights at the Hotel Johnson. Hello?
But if you've got an insurance question, you can always count on your local Geico agent. They can bundle your policies, which could save you hundreds.
Doug & Associates, this is Mickey Marquis. Hello?
For expert help with all your insurance needs, visit geico.com/local today.
And now it's Geico's Motorcycle Rules of the Road. Avoid biking in the rain and never touch another person's bike.
Hey guys, look at these bikes. So shiny. Whoops. I'm gonna leave a note. Oh gosh, there's more.
And the rule to saving on motorcycle insurance is, in 15 minutes, Geico could save you 15% or more.
Finishing jobs on time, never being idle, and powerful equipment. Meade has the John Deere excavating equipment and the smart grade technology solutions for you and your business. Power your business with a new, used, or rented excavator and get the performance you expect and service you can rely on. Call us today for the equipment built as tough and reliable as you, or visit us at meadtractor.com. That's meadtractor.com.
Bring your hive together with Spirited Hive. It's Hive O'Clock. What is Hive O'Clock? It's connecting or celebrating with your hive. A time to be present and create shared memories. At Spirited Hive, we become aficionados discerning what goes best with bourbon, tequila, and vodka. Bourbon whiskey with rosemary infused with honey and lemon, tequila ginger infused with honey and lime, or vodka cranberry infused with honey and lime. Available to purchase on reservebar.com or tap room for delivery within the hour. Join us at Spirited Hive on Instagram to see what the buzz is all about.
Hey, I'm Andy. If you don't know me, it's probably because I'm not famous. I'd start a men's grooming company called Harry's. The idea for Harry's came out of a frustrating experience I had buying razor blades. Most brands were overpriced, overdesigned, and out of touch. At Harry's, our approach is simple. Here's our secret. We make sharp, durable blades and sell them at honest prices for as low as $2 each. So much that we do some crazy things, like buy a world-class German blade factory. Obsessing over every detail means we're confident in offering a 100% quality guarantee. Millions of guys have already made the switch to Harry's, so thank you if you're one of them. If not, give us a try with this special offer. Get a Harry starter set with a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, shave gel, and a travel cover, all for just $3 plus free shipping. Just go to harrys.com and enter 7750 at checkout. That's harrys.com, code 7750. Enjoy.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne. Broadcasting on Alexa.
I appreciate that.
And other smart speakers.
ESPN.
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Live from the Game Nashville studios, it's time for Darren, Donick, and Chase. With hosts Darren McFarland, Willie Donick, and Chase McCabe. On Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 The Game.
Second hour at EDC here on this Wednesday. Hope everybody's having a good day to this point. Darren McFarland, Willie Donick, Derek Mason with you. Let's bring in Emery Hunt. Let's talk a little NFL draft. Yes, it's at the end of this month. It is closing in on draft time. CBS, and of course, is the owner of Football Game Plan. You should check this draft guide out. It is fantastic. And got over 1,000 individual scouting reports, and he now joins us. Emery, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah, thanks for doing this. There's a lot of teams this year with 2 first-round picks. Is this a good year to have 2 first-round picks?
I believe so. It's a good year to have 2 picks in every round in this particular draft because of how deep it is. When you think about the COVID year and everyone coming back and getting that extra season, now you have prospects that are, this is why I have 1,000 individual prospects in that draft guide because there's so many good players that are available at this draft. So if you have 2 swings at the top 32, man, that's worth its weight in gold.
What do you think about the wide receiver is a position that clearly, the Titans could be looking at? Maybe be looking at that late first-round pick in 26. How do you grade this wide receiver group?
I think it's a really good group, and I break the receivers down into 4 different categories. Split ends, which are your X receivers, your Z receivers, slot guys, and bigger inside receivers. And everywhere you look, you see guys that can win one-on-one, can win above the rim. Some guys are a little bit faster than others, but for the most part, because of how the college game is and how the high school game is, these guys have way more passing experience in terms of route running, coverage, the coverages that they see and the coverage that they go up against in college and high school, that they are more apt to step in right away and play. So that's why we're seeing so many talented wide receivers. So I do think if you need a wide receiver, this is another good class of guys, which should be the case moving forward, to grab some from.
We're talking with Emery Hunt, CBS. We're talking the upcoming NFL draft. Now, Emery, you talked about teams. This is a good year that teams have multiple picks, whether it be first, second, third, because the draft is so deep. Typically, when you see movement, it's because teams are trying to position themselves to get that marquee quarterback. There doesn't seem to be that marquee quarterback in this draft, even though there are some guys that have potential to be really good in this league. With that being said, do you envision it being a lot of movement in this year's draft, even though there's not a marquee quarterback?
Yeah, and to your point, I think people are positioning themselves, like you said, they're targeting certain players. And I find it funny that because of the Saints move the other day, folks are saying, they're going to get a quarterback. Did you guys not watch them lose Teron Armstead? They're positioning themselves for one of these premier tackles probably. And also they lost Marcus Williams. They probably positioned themselves for someone like a Kyle Hamilton. Sometimes the answer is right there in front of our faces, but we choose to ignore it. And we know the draft gets dumb every year. So for whatever reason, if a Kayvon Thibodeau falls past number 2, best believe somebody's trying to run up there and grab him. So I think teams are positioning themselves for the inevitable fall of premier prospects. And if you have two opportunities to get one guy that's a difference maker that you didn't foresee falling in the draft, you have to make that move. But let's say, for instance, the Saints, I just think that because they lose Teron Armstead and because they lose Marcus Williams, a top-tier free safety in the class, they may be positioning themselves for someone that can help them on that side, or we know they don't have the explosiveness at wide receivers. I feel like they have a team full of possession guys. They can get one of these premier wideouts that can take the top off the defense. That's probably why they acquired that second first-round pick. So, yes, I agree with you. Teams are moving not for quarterbacks this year, but for premier players at other positions.
Now, we've talked about the quarterbacks. We've talked about the wide receivers and how deep they are in the offensive lineman. That position is deep as well. The running back position we haven't talked about as much. I mean, I know whether it be Walker, and I'm biased toward Walker because he's a Michigan State guy, or Spiller or some of these other guys. How does the running back crop looks this year in terms of guys being drafted in the first round?
Well, listen, you're biased for Walker because you're a Michigan State guy. I'm biased for the whole position because I played running back. So for me, it's always going to be a great year to take the running back. But when you look at, let's say, first round, I think it's more about which teams could use a running back. I feel like, outside of Miami, who just signed Chase Edmonds, you really don't see a glaring need for a team to take a back. So that probably takes first-round running back out of the equation. But, man, I'm a big fan of Spiller. Ja'Shawn Corbin out of Florida State, someone that has the perfect marriage of vision, footwork, and elusiveness that you want. I also love what Zamir White brings to the table. He compares favorably to me to Frank Gore. Frank Gore had those injuries going into Miami and at Miami, and was able to, have a Hall of Fame career with 16,000 rushing yards. I can see Zamir White, who was a monster coming out of high school, had those 2 ACL injuries, and I think this past season we just saw him get back to that same level of explosiveness that we saw from him as a high school senior. So when you have guys like that, and I'm not worried about what Kyron Williams ran at the Combine. He plays faster than he ran out there on the field. To me, this is a really good crop of running backs that you can find, and you can get good value all throughout the draft. Obviously, Tyler Algieri out of BYU is another one that no one is really talking about. Has good all-around game.
We're talking to Emery Hunt. He is with Football Game Plan, and he's got a draft guide out there. And, Emery, before I ask you another question or two about this year's draft, tell people how they can get your draft guide. This time of the year, I know a lot of people just eat this stuff up.
They can order the largest draft guide in draft guide history at footballgameplan.com/2022 draft guide. When we say 1,000 individual prospects, it's not like we're profiling 50 guys and just list 1,000. No, every player that's in this draft guide has an individual page, a scouting report. And so it's going to help you not only for the draft, but throughout the draft. When your team signs someone as an undrafted free agent, you're like, who's that? That guy's probably in this draft guide. When he signs in preseason and he's going off, you're like, well, who the heck is that guy? He's going to be in this draft guide too. So footballgameplan.com/2022 draft guide.
Now, with that in mind, I know one of the things that you have circled here recently to feature is some guys from smaller schools. Our listening area is full of some small school programs that always have those guys that are trying to crack an NFL roster. When you evaluate somebody from a smaller school that's not playing in the Big Ten or the SEC, what are you looking for?
That's a great question, and that's one that folks really have to, understand. Number one, you better stand out on tape. When I put the tape on, it better be clear to me, okay, that's the guy that's the pro prospect. I shouldn't have to watch, deep into the third quarter to figure out who's the pro prospect. You better stand out initially, number one. And number two, you have to have traits that translate. So I always bring up the example when I was watching Tariq Cohen at North Carolina A&T, and I just watched him make everybody miss. He was faster than everybody on the field. To me, speed and elusiveness translates. And then when you watch him the next season against North Carolina, it checked off the boxes. It was a 60-yard run he had where no one in Carolina Blue touched him. It was a downhill run. So for me, those are the things that tend to translate. And if you go all the way back, and I know he was a Power 5 guy that transferred down to a 1AA before they moved up. But when you go back and watch Randy Moss at Marshall, that was clear and evident that this guy was on a different plane. Fast forward to someone now in this draft class, Christian Watson, 6'5", 6'4", 215. They use him in the backfield. They use him as a punt returner, kickoff returner for a taller guy. That tells you a lot about his footwork and athleticism. So you're looking at traits that you know can translate to any field you want to, whether he's playing at North Dakota State, Florida State, or playing for the Tennessee Titans. Those things that travel with you is what you look for when you're watching a small school prospect, no matter where they're playing.
Emory, it's easy for me, to watch a draft and say, hey, I've seen that guy play. I'm biased, for guys that played in the power conference. It's so easy for fans to say, well, somebody that played against SEC competition is going to have an advantage in the pros. Do you think there's a lot of teams that have a bias with their scouts, or do you think nowadays they're getting better and better at being able to separate these things that you're just talking about when they're looking at on deeper levels?
It's a multi-layered answer, to be honest, because high school does a great job of kind of funneling everybody down. So the 5-star prospects, which are your top-tier elite athletes, tend to be go to the Power 5 schools. So if you're going by where the best athletes are, 90% of them will be at the Power 5 level, then Group of 5, and FCS, and so on and so forth. So it's not like they're ignoring the small schools. They're just going where the depth of talent will be, which is at these Power 5 programs. And I also feel like one thing that I started to hear pop up around this time, and more particular with the Georgia prospect, well, he was only good because he played at Georgia around other good players. Well, guess what? He's going to go to the NFL where everyone around him is also a good player. So obviously that is not going to be a problem or a knock. So you can't really knock a guy for playing where they're super talented, let's say across the defensive line, because he's going to go to the NFL team where everyone on that team is talented. So it can go either way. And I know some small school guys tend to feel like the league just overlooks them. Well, if you were of that top 3% athletically, you would be at a Power 5 school. Now, maybe you're a late bloomer. You may be a slow wide receiver coming out of high school, and you transform into a fantastic flex tight end. Then that's a different story because your development was a little bit later than someone that comes out built like Zamir White going to Georgia.
All right, Emory, as we let you go, hey, Darren, I just want to throw this in there. Since Emory came on with this last after the Senior Bowl, Emory, I want you to know I got another good suit because I didn't want to be that guy that people think dresses pretty nice but only has the one good suit. So I've tried to get 2 or 3 extra suits since we talked, or at least be thinking about that long term. I've kept that in the back of my mind.
See, now you're taking Nazar's fashion tips, too, because I don't know if you guys noticed, I was at the NFL Combine. I slaughtered all week long. So I not only was giving good scouting analysis, it was a dressing analysis, the nonverbal dressing analysis that really was the showstopper.
That's why you need to get this guide, okay? This
That's right.
Football game plan. This is why you got to get this stuff. Real quick, Emory, anybody in particular you like at either Tennessee or Vanderbilt that you like in this draft?
Tennessee has, it's interesting because there was one year where Tennessee doesn't have players, but I would say I will go Tennessee State. Same area. Corey Raymond, the safety, is someone that I thought people need to talk about. I was at an NFLPA game. He was outstanding there. He transferred up from Southeastern University, which is an NAIA school in Florida. He really tore it up at Tennessee State, had a good week at the NFLPA game, tested well. But at Tennessee, I look at the receiver, Valus Jones, because he can step in right away and help you on special teams, and that's an integral part to the game. You can lose or win games with special teams. So Valus Jones out of Tennessee is my favorite prospect from the volunteer program.
Good stuff. Emory, really appreciate the visit as always. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks for doing this.
Appreciate you guys as always.
Yep.
Football game plan. Check it out. You heard about his draft guide, man. If you want to know anything about anybody that's going to get drafted, this has it for sure. We'll come back, discuss some of that. That's pretty interesting. Also, a wide receiver signed a big deal again, and the reason I'm bringing this up is because of our conversation yesterday. We'll discuss ESPN 102.5 The Game.
A show that doesn't pull any punches.
And they win a playoff game and they get to the divisional round and he doesn't give up a sack the rest of the year. I don't give two poops. I'm done.
And has an opinion on everything.
That ref crew that was just terrible. Threw flags on almost every possession.
Jared Stillman hosts Stillman and Company.
Tough guy. He's a really tough guy.
Weekday afternoons from 2 to 6. Delivered by TriStar Moving on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Gary Ashton here. Most people in Nashville know me as the don't sell without the intel and the guaranteed offer guy. But despite my accent, I'm also 100% guaranteed Nashville. I'm a guaranteed musician, a guaranteed dog lover, and you're also guaranteed to see me at every Titans and Preds game. Guaranteed offer means the Gary Ashton team with RE/MAX Advantage will sell your house for top dollar with no cleaning, staging, showings, or open houses, and give you up to 90 days to close. So there's plenty of time to find your next home. Guaranteed Nashville means my team lives here and loves it here. We've served Nashville for over 20 years, and we're passionate about helping the people we call neighbors and friends, which is why we've had a long-standing tradition of donating to the Vanderbilt Children's Hospital. If you're thinking about a guaranteed offer, get the only one that's guaranteed Nashville. Request a no-obligation offer by calling 615-301-1650 or go to GaryAshton.com today. Remember, Gary Ashton, guaranteed Nashville.
BetOnline.net is your #1 source for all your betting needs and sports info. Find all of the latest sports developments, including this week's Masters Championships odds, podcasts, and reviews for all the different leagues this season. BetOnline.net is your continued source for all your sporting wagering information, including live betting, esports, and scores. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends in action. BetOnline.net, where the game starts.
Winning this award is truly like winning the Super Bowl of car dealer awards for Mercedes-Benz.
Edwin Vickery, General Manager of Mercedes-Benz of Music City.
Culture eats strategy for lunch. You have to hit on all cylinders to win this award. You can strategize all you want. You got to still have the right tools, and our tools are our people.
Live the dream with 3-time Mercedes-Benz Best of the Best Award winner, Mercedes-Benz of Music City. Go to mbofmc.com.
Pro Golf is back in Middle Tennessee. Mark your calendars for the Simmons Bank Open, May 5th through 8th. You can see the next wave of PGA Tour stars. Be sure to visit the Sand Trap at the 14th hole and check out great local food trucks, including Hattie B's, Hogwood Barbecue, Dream Burger, Padrino Pops, cocktails from Jack Daniels, and try the Sand Trap Cream Ale from New Heights Brewing Company. Purchase your tickets now at SimmonsBankOpen.com.
It's watching the top players take the ice. It's hard-fought games that end in victory. It's showing your favorite team to your favorite people. Secure your seats for the 2022-23 Nashville Predators season today to ensure you never miss a game at Bridgestone Arena. Plus, enjoy Nashville locker room discounts, exclusive presale offers, and more. Visit NashvillePredators.com/season tickets. Join the loyal legion today and paint the town Preds. That's NashvillePredators.com/season tickets. NashvillePredators.com/season tickets.
Every Wednesday at 6, we go behind the glass with current and former Predators players, along with coaches and broadcasters for Nashville Live.
Yost, Hal, and I were just talking about last night's game. It was a big game for us.
Presented by New Amsterdam Vodka, Spring Hill Heating and Cooling, and Red Spirits and Wine on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Interact with Darren, Donick, and Chase. Call or text the show at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
Stop by Social Furniture, 5412 Charlotte Avenue. That's in Nashville. Enter for a chance to win a pair of tickets to see the Predators and Blackhawks at Bridgestone Arena on Saturday, April 16th. Don't forget to check out the new sofas while you're there. Must be 18 years of age or older to enter the contest, but no purchase is necessary. Congratulations, Corey Seals. Corey called in on our phone line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com and correctly said the year was 2006. That was the last time the Predators had 3 power play goals in one period. So congratulations to Corey. Thanks for listening. Go enjoy the game next Tuesday between the Predators and the Sharks. At
It was
Bridgestone
interesting
Arena.
that was the year, because that year the power plays around the league went nuts because they made the rule changes. It was coming out of the lockout. They really cracked down on hooking, holding, et cetera, to open up scoring. And so if you look around the league, power plays were huge that year, including Nashville. That was the first year they had Paul Correa. So good stuff.
A lot of people were guessing on our text line. A lot of them were correct, and some were wrong. But we did ask you to call in. Sometimes you have to pick up the phone and actually dial the digits and call in, and that's what Corey did. By the way, on our text line, going back to the original discussion of what's been happening to me, someone suggested that Dennis Rodman posted that on Craigslist.
It could be.
Derek, your thoughts?
Hey, you never know with Rodman, man.
Have you noticed, by the way, Dennis Rodman has a daughter that is an absolute superstar on the soccer field?
Didn't know that.
I didn't either until just the other day. Check it out. She's the next big thing for USA Soccer. 19 years old, I think.
Man.
Superstar.
There you go. I could say Dennis Rodman for that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You sure can.
So he might be the answer to a question down the road regarding her. We'll see.
Exactly.
Yesterday we talked a lot about A.J. Brown. And honestly, I thought about that conversation today when the news this morning was, oh, by the way, the Bills have inked Stephon Diggs to a new 4-year extension worth $104 million. The reason I bring that up, $70 million of it guaranteed. Price tag for wide receivers keeps going up, 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 and up. And I do wonder. Because it is interesting when you think about the three names that have been tossed around. We had Rich Cimini on the show yesterday. Well, I don't think San Francisco is getting rid of Deebo Samuel. I get it. They're going to have to pay him, but he's a big, big part of what they do. And, oh, by the way, when he has that success running the ball and catching the ball, I just don't see it. I don't know what other playmaker they have like that. They don't. They don't have another playmaker on offense, right? To his level. I know they have Kittle, but, I mean, Deebo Samuel is a freaking stud. Seattle, do they want to pay DK Metcalf? Are they going to have a little sticker shock for a team that seems to be kind of taking a step back for a while? Like, hey, we'll be in the back row. We're going to hang out here for a while. I know we've been sitting in the front row in class, but I think, right now we're gonna sit in the back. No Russell Wilson, Bobby Wagner. I mean, the list goes on and on. They've just been defection after defection. Really, you're going into the season with Drew Lock, and who knows who there's going to be their quarterback down the road? Are they going to pay DK Metcalf $25 million a year? And with the Titans, because of where they are, they're going to have to pay Jeffrey Simmons, right? I mean, where they're at cap-wise and others that they're going to have to pay, are they willing to – how's that going to sit with John Robinson? Are they willing to pay the price it seems like to keep a number one receiver around these days? I don't know.
Well, it determines on because I look at it from this standpoint. You're only worth what a team is willing to pay you. And everybody sees these numbers that are being thrown out. And then they assume, well, this guy's going to get this because this guy got that. And that's not always the case. Take for instance, Deebo Samuel. The thing that works for him is the thing that's going to work against him. Because he plays so many positions, he's more susceptible to get hurt. So his contract may not be as long in regards to years, because San Francisco either will say, we're trading you to get value for you, or we're going to sign you to a shorter term because you just don't play on the outside. You're just not a receiver. I don't know what you classify Deebo Samuel as. I classify him as an athlete, like he was coming out of college, coming out of high school, because he can play in the backfield, because he can play in the slot, because he can play outside. And I'm sure if they wanted to put him at safety or something, he probably could play that as well. So I consider him an athlete, but the same thing that works for him possibly can work against him in terms of negotiations and getting a longer-term deal. Will it affect the guarantee money? I don't know. But when you play that many positions in a sport that is so physical, you are more inclined as you get older to get hurt. So when you're looking at these contracts, I'm not going to sit here and say, well, at that position, now quarterback position is totally different. At that position or any other position, I'm not going to look at it and say, well, this guy got this, so the next guy should get this. Not necessarily. It all depends on what your team is willing to pay you. And then if your team is not willing to pay you, what is the next team willing to pay you? Well, the next team may say, you know what? All of this is out of whack. We need to reset it. And now you're in a position where you're not going to get the money you expect. You're going to get a lot of money, but maybe not what everyone else is throwing out there, because everyone else is just looking at everybody else's pockets instead of just looking at the reality of things, that there could be a possibility that they reset this thing and then go from there.
I go back to what we talked a lot about yesterday. Where is my team right now in the grand scheme of things? Am I a contender right now? And also, how does my team look down the road? To me, those two things are really important. Deebo Samuel is a guy that he makes them go. The 49ers, where would they be offensively without him? He's the guy that really makes them go.
Lost.
They've got to have him, I think. Unless they're just saying, you know what, guys, we're going to reset. We got to set everything over again. I don't think they're there. I think they want to win. So they've got to figure out a way to get him back.
But San Fran operates a lot on defense too. Their main thing is we're going to play smothering defense. That's how we're going to win games. And then from an offensive standpoint, they don't look to be this offensive juggernaut, even though they have really good players. San Fran looked to just smother you from a defensive standpoint.
I totally agree with that. And that's why I think Samuel is so important. They don't have an offense that's littered with playmakers. He is huge for them. So I think he's I got to have him. I've got to figure out a way to make this work. I would rank him higher in offensive impact than A.J. Brown. But here's the comparison. A.J. Brown makes the Titans offense go. When they have him in there and he's playing well, they're a different offense. He is a difference maker. So
Derek makes that offense go. AJ makes the passing game go, but Derek makes the whole team from an offensive standpoint go.
Yes, when we're getting down to the bedrock, Derrick Henry is the bedrock, right? He's the guy and that's another reason why you got to have A.J. Brown, because Derrick Henry won't be Derrick Henry forever. But he's the guy. He is the franchise man that everything's predicated on. If you're going to win big, it's got to be with him.
We'll come back and continue the discussion, because Stephon Diggs is going to be 29 this season. So if he's commanding that, and I get it, he's more established, but wow, a guy who's much younger. So we'll discuss that on the other side. But first, Willie, you've got a word about Lee Company.
Yes, let's talk Lee Company. The Predators, this is such an exciting month that's coming up, and you're going to want to be a part of the ride here. Whether you're listening to our station, watching on Bally Sports, or going down to Smashville, you know Lee Company is a big, big sponsor of Nashville Predators hockey. The journey continues up to Ottawa tomorrow night for a rematch with the Senators, and Darren will have the pregame coverage. Pete Weber, Hal Gill will be on the call, and Lee Company will be a big part of it. Lee Company also wants to help you keep your house in order. At the Donick House, our house was built way back in 1913. It's an older house, and as the years go by, we've been in our house since 2000. There always is going to be some times where you've got to make sure that you keep up with stuff, and that's where Lee Company with their home maintenance plan really helps you. Your plumbing system, your electric system, these aren't things you check on a weekly basis, your air conditioning, your heating, but that's where Lee Company gives you the annual checkups. They'll call you, they'll come out, they'll make sure everything is running properly. If it's not, You get discounts on the repairs if you're a member of the home maintenance plan. We are, and it's worked well for us. Lee Company can be reached at 615-567-1000. Ask about their home maintenance plan. It'll help you stay on your toes and keep your house running efficiently. 615-567-1000 or leecompany.com.
Every Friday at 8:30 on Robbie and Rex Show, we talk with the legend, Terry Chris, about all things Nashville Predators, presented by Copper Branch on ESPN 102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Most shoppers today fall into one of two categories. You could be like Dave, who settles for nothing but the finest.
I drive only European luxury sedans, wear the finest Italian leather shoes, my shirts are custom made, and I expect white glove service from those I do business with. I appreciate world-class brands, and at this point in my life, I just don't want to compromise on quality, no matter what I buy.
Or you might be like Steve, whose goal is to always get the best deal.
I'm frugal. I'm all about finding value. I want the best price, and I don't mind going out of my way to get it. I work hard for my money, and I just want to make sure when I buy something, I can have confidence in knowing I'm not overpaying for it. Stop being cheap, it's being smart.
You never see these two guys in the same store, except for one.
That's why I shop at Genesis Diamonds.
Genesis Diamonds is that rare shopping experience where you can have it all. Uncompromising luxury and unbeatable value, exceptional service and the guaranteed best price in America, a premium experience and a smart purchase. This is where the best of all worlds come together. Genesis Diamonds, voted best jewelry store year after year. Green Hills and Cool Springs.
What if you could be debt-free in 3 weeks? Hey, Willie Donick here. My friends at Loan Pronto are helping people do it every day. It's Loan Pronto's debt consolidation home refi, wiping out tens of thousands in credit card debt. Listen, your home's value is way up. You can refinance now, take money out to pay off all your credit cards, eliminate PMI charges, pay off personal loans, or other high-interest debt. One local couple had over $50,000 in credit card debt. Loan Pronto did a debt consolidation refi. And even though their mortgage rate went up a tad, they cut their monthly payments by $900. Why pay 20% interest when you can consolidate it to one low payment with a mortgage APR in the threes? Homeowners who do it save an average of $800 a month. Do it now and even skip your next house payment altogether. That's what I call financial freedom. Call Loan Pronto now. 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval.
ESPN's Turon Davenport breaks down the Titans like no other.
On the field chemistry, I don't think it's going to be a problem. It's just going to be a process.
Catch TD Mondays at 11, Thursdays at 3, and Fridays at 8. Plus, the Talking with TD podcast drops every Wednesday.
When you draft players, it's not just for one season, it's for a career.
Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey Nashville, this is David Price. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Back at you, 102.5 The Game. Darren, Donick, and Mace, me, and not Chase today. Back at you. Hey, quickly, Elijah, a friend of mine from Philly that's listening to the show from Philly sent me the article of Dennis Rodman's daughter, Trinity Rodman, and she's being compared to Michael Jordan. That's how good this young girl is.
So she's a prodigy. It's not like she's just really good or she's going to make a team. Like, she's a prodigy.
Absolutely. So, I mean, hey, apple don't fall far from the tree. Maybe hopefully she doesn't have her father's, like, antics.
Yes.
She keeps that out of the way.
Better scoring ability than maybe
absolutely,
her father did.
Absolutely. But let's get back to the whole wide receiver and, guaranteed money and potential, what will potentially be gotten from what AJ will get in regards to his pay. Because if you're looking at these other wide receivers, and here's the deal, because there's going to have to be some type of reset here, Willie. Because this thing is, and for the wide receivers, the guys that are coming up that are getting paid, they don't want it. They want it to continue to go the way it has been the last year and a half, especially with all of these trades. And I think that's what has jumped the number up so high. It's the trades. It hasn't been, okay, we're going to re-sign this guy. It happened because of the trades. And more recently, the Davante Adams trade sort of triggered a lot of this, where guys are getting, X amount of dollars. Actually, you know what? Let's go back even further than that, because I'm wrong on this in regards to saying, well, it started with Davante. No, it started with Brown when he wanted to leave Pittsburgh, and he got this huge deal with Oakland to leave Pittsburgh. And then ultimately, he got his money, went crazy, whatever you want to call it, and then he gets, let go, and he finds himself in New England and then Tampa. But that's when it started, when he forced his way out of Pittsburgh to Oakland, got the big contract with Oakland. I think that's where receivers start to see, hey, we can command the dollars that the quarterbacks, well, some of the lower tier quarterbacks are getting, not the top tier, but the lower tier. But then you see Davante Adams and Tyreek Hill, guys like that starting to get closer to the $30 million per year in the guaranteed money. Now they're looking at this and saying, it's a good time to have your contract beat up if you're a receiver.
Yeah, I think it's a good point, and also just the trend. I think understanding that the passing game is what's driving so much, and what enhances, for most of the teams don't have a franchise quarterback. Most of them don't. I mean, the vast majority don't when you get down to it. So how do you enhance a good quarterback? You get them a great receiver. So I think these great receivers are understanding that there's a huge value for that. So let me ask you this aspect of it, Derek. When they talk this summer, whenever they come around to talk to A.J. Brown, part of the equation is going to be, hey, look, if you sign this now, if you sign what we're offering now, you get the security. You know exactly what we're going to guarantee you. Hey, we know it's the NFL, and the last few years of the contract are going to be what they are. But there's also, from his camp, probably look, if I play this out, if I don't like what I'm offered right now, I can bet on myself, have a big year, and then, wow, next year at the end of my contract, I have more value than I've ever had. So how did you weigh, I don't know if how much you were presented this at stages of your career, but how did you weigh in this volatile time where an injury, and this is a guy that's had some injuries in A.J. Brown, how did you value the security versus betting on yourself?
Well, I mean, one thing, I didn't have any injuries. I was
right.
I
So
was
you're
blessed
probably
enough
different
to,
than AJ in that.
I didn't miss. When I was with the Titans, I only missed 2 games, and that was early in my career. So as we started to negotiate, you couldn't go back to, well, you miss X amount of games. No, because if I can go out there and I can be 80% of myself or 70% of myself, then 70% of myself was better than a lot of 100% receivers that were out there. So I figured I needed to be on the field because, more importantly, I helped the team in that regard. So fortunately for me, I didn't have to. Now in AJ's case,
so you were betting on yourself.
Yeah, I'm going out here.
You were confident that you were going to be on the field.
Exactly. I never thought about, well, this is my last year, and man, I might get hurt. No, I never approached it from that standpoint, and I'm sure AJ's not approaching it from that standpoint either. But if you are the one that has to initiate the negotiations, meaning the Titans, then you are looking at it from that standpoint. Like, how much guarantee money do I invest in A.J. Brown or anybody on that team, and knowing the history of their injuries? You don't want to, it's like, okay, do I want to invest? Because if we're going by the trends here, the top 10 receivers, let's say the top 5 receivers right now, guaranteed money, averages around $67 million, somewhere in that ballpark. So are the Titans going to say, well, I'm going to guarantee $60+ million to A.J. Brown. Oh, by the way, he's already missed 6 games in his career, early career, and he's had knee problems. Do I want to invest that much? If I'm A.J. Brown, I'm like, hey, listen, that's not my problem. When I'm on the field, I'm your number one guy. And the numbers bear it when I'm on the field. So I'm not worried about. That's up for you to worry about. If you don't want to pay me, then I know somebody else will pay me. That's how A.J. Brown has to approach it, because I don't want to hear a hometown discounts. No. That is not factored into the equation when it comes to football. I'm not taking a hometown discount. Why should I? You're not going to keep me around for an extra 2 or 3 years if I'm playing horrible, are you? No, you're going to cut me, and rightfully so. So why should I take a hometown discount?
Well, because I think what I'm countering with is I'm giving you the guaranteed money right now. We don't know what's going to happen in the future, but you have the opportunity right here to sign this guaranteed contract. But it could go up if you increase your value, if you don't sign it. But that's why right now maybe I can get you for a little bit less. If you want to call that a hometown discount, then so be it, I guess. But here's the other part of it, Derek, and this is, you brought this up before. Do you think it is something that resonates with AJ that in Tennessee you don't have the state income tax? You don't hear that used as much in football as some of the other sports where the contracts are guaranteed long term, because I think, players understand that, it's always a year-to-year thing when you get down to it. But that is real money.
Yes, it is real money, and it's but you're going to have to pay taxes in other states anyway, because you play in other states. And I get it, you don't have a state income tax here, but the government's going to get its money somehow, some way. And maybe it saves you, I don't know, $500,000, $1 million, $1.5 million over 4 or 5 years, over 3 years. Oh, and that's a lot of money. I get it. But if someone else is willing to pay you, if the Titans are guaranteeing you $65 million and someone else is guaranteeing you $75 million or $72 million, I'm not worried about the state tax here. I'm really not.
Here's the last thing that I think about if I'm the Titans. If I want to offer, because we've established the market for wide receivers is very, very high, and it's not going to go down anytime soon. But am I confident that if I'm investing big in a guy that I want to be my number one receiver, how about the makeup of that guy? And that's where I think I feel pretty good if I'm the Titans. Is the guy going to bust his butt? Yes. A.J. Brown, he's all in. Is he a good team guy? Does he want to be here? He lights up all of those. He checks all those boxes for me. So I feel better about a big investment, even if it's going to be expensive at the position, about A.J. Brown. The injury thing is no question a factor, but all those other intangibles I really like about him.
No, and you should like. And I'm sure every player, just about every player on that Titan team as we speak now, they enjoy being on that team. They enjoy, being in that locker room. They enjoy the city of Nashville. So to me, that's not even a conversation that factors into whether I want to keep AJ or not. AJ's a hard worker. Yes, that's a plus, because you do find some people that are not working as hard as an AJ Brown, and you want to make sure he's committed to the sport. And it seems like, that's what AJ is. He's committed to the sport, regardless of where he's at. He's committed to the sport and being the best player he can possibly be, whether it's here in Nashville or it's somewhere else. That's just, to me, that's his makeup. So that's like one of those things. That should, at least coming from me, this is how I think about it.
All right, let's hold this for on the other side. We'll do that to wrap up hour number 2. Jim Wyatt coming up at 1 o'clock. A good discussion. A lot of you weighing in our text line. We'll continue it here on the DDC ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Hey, this is Matt Duchene, and this is Smashville.
Running down the left side with Duchene. Duchene scores! Matt Duchene with the overtime winner.
You're listening to the flagship of the Nashville Predators radio network, ESPN 1025 The Game.
From Fox 17 News, this is a Code Red weather alert.
I'm Fox 17 News Code Red meteorologist Dan Guthrie. Scattered showers and thunderstorms will move through the mid-state today. Some of those could be strong to severe, mainly this afternoon and early evening.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Gary Ashton here. Most people in Nashville know me as the don't sell without the intel and the guaranteed offer guy. But despite my accent, I'm also 100% guaranteed Nashville. I'm a guaranteed musician, a guaranteed dog lover, and you're also guaranteed to see me at every Titans and Preds game. Guaranteed offer means the Gary Ashton team with RE/MAX Advantage will sell your house for top dollar with no cleaning, staging, showings, or open houses, and give you up to 90 days to close. So there's plenty of time to find your next home. Guaranteed Nashville means my team lives here and loves it here. We've served Nashville for over 20 years, and we're passionate about helping the people we call neighbors and friends, which is why we've had a long-standing tradition of donating to the Vanderbilt Children's Hospital. If you're thinking about a guaranteed offer, get the only one that's guaranteed Nashville. Request a no-obligation offer by calling 615-301-1650 or go to GaryAshton.com today. Remember, Gary Ashton, guaranteed Nashville.
Sounds Baseball is back. Catch the action at First Horizon Park tonight at 6:35 as the Nashville Sounds take on the Tampa Bay Rays affiliate, the Durham Bulls. And the first 1,000 fans are guaranteed a prize when they walk in the gates. Grab your tickets today at NashvilleSounds.com.
Finishing jobs on time, never being idle, and powerful equipment. Meade has the John Deere excavating equipment and the smart grade technology solutions for you and your business. Power your business with a new, used, or rented excavator and get the performance you expect and service you can rely on. Call us today for the equipment built as tough and reliable as you, or visit us at meadtractor.com. That's meadtractor.com.
Hey, it's Chase McCabe of Darren, Donick & Chase. I started my radio career as an intern right here at ESPN 1025 The Game. Now we're looking for our next great batch of interns. You think that's you? Send your resume to together@cromwellmedia.com to apply today.
Let's add a little red right there. Hey, we'll be right with you.
For Bianca's flower shop, spring orders and Mother's Day are a tricky arrangement.
Hey, can I get help repotting this fiddle leaf?
She needs to put the pedal to the metal and find more florists.
We're running low on daisies. How does that even happen?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our hiring platform instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
A show that doesn't pull any punches.
And they win a playoff game and they get to the divisional round and he doesn't give up a sack the rest of the year. I don't give two poops. I'm done.
And has an opinion on everything.
That ref crew that was just terrible. Threw flags on almost every possession.
Jared Stillman hosts Stillman and Company.
Tough guy. He's a really tough guy.
Weekday afternoons from 2 to 6. Delivered by TriStar Moving on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app. If you've missed any of today's show, just search Darren, Donick & Chase on Apple, Spotify, or on your favorite podcast platform.
Sounds Baseball tonight on 94.9. Take on the Durham Bulls, AAA affiliate for the Rays. That'll be at First Horizon Park. Pregame show begins at 6:20. First pitch is at 6:35. Sounds Baseball on ESPN 94.9, presented by 312 Pizza, Farm Bureau Health Plans, Spirited Hive, and Dazed Delta 8. Back here on the DDC. Derek, you had some more thoughts on A.J. Brown. We've been talking about Stephon Diggs has been given a new 4-year extension, which pays him. I don't know. Everywhere I look, I see $98 million. I see $102 million. I see $104 million. I'm seeing different reports. It's about $25 million per, $70 million of it guaranteed. Stephon Diggs will be 29 in the middle of this upcoming season.
Yeah, he will. And when you look at all these contracts, and again, I mean, you just look at the top five, and I think the fifth highest paid guy with the most guaranteed money is, I think it's Hopkins. But Hopkins got that money a few years ago, and Hopkins is what, 32, 31, somewhere around there. And then Michael Thomas, and he's dealt with his injuries, and I'm pretty sure New Orleans is like, man, why do we get, like, it's come to bite them in the rear because they guaranteed him $60 million, and since he's got that contract,
he hasn't done squat.
He hasn't done anything. And I think he was injured a few times before he got the contract.
By the way, Hopkins will be 30 in June. So this offseason,
wow, these kids are young, man. Goodness gracious. It seems like Hopkins been in the NFL like 20 years almost.
He was a first-round pick in 2013.
Wow, goodness.
By the way, pick 27. So, maybe you can get a player like that at 26.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
saying.
And then you got Davante Adams, who at one point for like 10 minutes, he was the highest paid receiver. And then Tyreek Hill came, and for 10 minutes, he still has the highest paid guaranteed money. And now Stephon Diggs has taken over the number 2 spot from Davante Adams. All of these things will come into factor. They will. And I'm pretty sure A.J. Brown's agent will try to get as much money as he possibly and humanly can for his client, because if he gets more money for his client, more money for him, and then he can showcase, hey, listen, let me be your client. Look at what I did for my client, A.J. Brown and DK Metcalf. I got them a combined $40 million guaranteed. So it works not only for the player, but for the agent as well. It's going to be somewhere in that 60, I think it'll be north of $65 million that he will be guaranteed, A.J. Brown. Now, north of that, 65, it could be 65, it could be higher. I don't know. But it all depends on what the Titans are willing to pay him, knowing that, you're going to have to pay Jeffrey Simmons. And Jeffrey Simmons is going to it's going to be a sticker shock to a lot of people. But he's going to want the money that Aaron Donald has gotten, and maybe even more, because he's much younger than Aaron Donald. So he's going to want that money. So not only are you going to have to pay A.J. Brown, but the next year or year after, if they're smart, they're going to try to get it done the next year. You're going to have to pay Jeffrey Simmons a lot of money. And just think about the draft picks that have hit, that are playing well for your team. You're going to have to pay them as well. But the Titans will figure all that out. But first and foremost, they're going to have to figure out A.J. Brown.
You have good players that are at the top of their game, especially Jeffrey Simmons. I just think he deserves it. A guy that deserves to get a big payday. That means he's a dominant player. That's why
I say this is Tannehill's last year.
Let's go back to A.J. Brown, because nobody's really like Jeffrey Simmons. I think in all three of our opinions, he's already there. To me, I'm confused. So you're like, A.J. Brown is hovering around Stephon Diggs' money. Is this on like what you think he's going to be? Because Stephon Diggs is that.
It's
A.J.
not
Brown,
what
he's had 3 years. He's had over 100 receptions.
Yeah.
Like A.J. Brown's best year is 70. So is this on projection of what you think he's going to be? Because you've got one guy who has done it and another guy we think is going to do it.
Number one wide receivers get paid.
I'm sitting here and I'm giving you two sort of thoughts. The realist in me, based upon what these receivers are getting, tells me that now whether he gets it from the Titans or not, that's a different story. Tells me that he's going to command north of $65 million guaranteed. Now, that's from what other guys have gotten, and how it doesn't matter. Christian Kirk, he didn't put up big numbers, and look what he got. Nowadays, average receivers are getting paid as if they are number one guys. That's just the way it is. That's the way the league is, and I don't fault the players for it. It's just the price of doing business. You're paying a guy that's really a number two or hovering around a number. He's that number 3, but hovering at 2. You're paying him as if he a 1. But some teams, because they're desperate, they're going to do that. I don't think the Titans are in a desperate mode. So again, because of the way these contracts have been going, I think he will get north of 65 million or north of that. Now, based upon what I've seen, what he's done, the numbers compared to all these other guys, he's not worth that much. But again, just because I look at his numbers and the games that he's missed, and he hadn't cracked that top 10 receiver category, doesn't mean that the Titans aren't going to give him that money.
Yeah, it's the market. It's the market. It's like Corey Davis. It's why the Titans decided, hey, we love Corey Davis, but he's going to get way more money than we're willing to slot him at. And that's exactly what happened with the Jets, right?
No, not really. They could have paid him that money.
Well, they could have, but that was a choice. They chose.
Not worth it.
That's the conclusion they came to, is that he was going to get more than they were willing to pay, and that may not have been the right decision.
Oh, it wasn't the right decision, because they brought in Julio Jones and paid him $15, and they ain't getting no production really.
Yeah, and they didn't get much out of Corey Davis either. Derek, I love you, but your assessment of Corey Davis is just off.
I am telling
as good as
I am telling you with the Tennessee. This is what people. I don't think
you're saying in their system. I know where you're going.
Yes, unless you've, and it's no knock on you, Darren, or Willie, or anybody else, but unless you played a guy, if a guy's doing well at one organization, Corey Davis was on average a 850, 900-yard guy. That's what he was. 6 to 7 touchdowns. That's what he was. 70 catches. We knew what he was, okay? He was having a better year his last year because they brought in that number 1. Corey wasn't, and I said that before, Corey wasn't a bona fide number 1. He was more of a number 2, but could jump into that number 1 role if A.J. Brown got hurt. I said that plenty of times. Mm-hmm. He goes to the Jets. He's not a number 1. He's just not. And then you got to work in a new quarterback, work in a new system. All that factors in. Had he stayed here in Nashville, he would have had 1,000 yards. He would have been 1,000-yard receiver the next following year. Because why? He knew the offense. He had a rapport with the quarterback. He was comfortable with what he was doing here in Nashville.
All right. We will, by the way, we'll have Jim White at 1 o'clock. This is good. I like the passionate plea. I love that. We'll continue the discussion, but we are going to switch gears to begin the third hour. We're going to talk with Chris Mason because the team is leaving to go to Ottawa today, so we're going to have to move him up a little bit. So we'll talk with C-Mace to begin the third hour. That's next here on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
From Brentwood to Donaldson.
From a fantasy perspective, he is absolute gold.
We are Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey guys, it's the new year. Are you still struggling with erectile dysfunction? I've yet to meet anyone that enjoys timing those intimate moments around a pill. Well, now you don't have to. The advanced wave technology at Hillside Medical has been shown by Cambridge University and the Cleveland Clinic to restore and even regrow blood vessels. It can improve circulation and eliminate erectile dysfunction. No pills and no side effects. If you're ready to put a stop to your ED, call us in the next 2 minutes and you'll receive a consultation, assessment, and blood flow ultrasound free. Plus, a special gift that produces immediate results in the bedroom. You're going to love that. Trust me. This is a $600 value, free to callers now. 615-576-5000. That's 615-576-5000. Guys, get rid of your ED and get that spark back. Call Hillside Medical now to qualify. 615-576-5000.
Realizing Geico's great service and licensed agents are available at your fingertips is like realizing the plastic piece that comes with your pizza isn't a tiny doll table. It's to keep the box from touching the pizza.
Hey, the pizza's stuck to the box. Where's that little plastic thing?
Dolly needed it for her tea party.
It's something that's been right there in front of you all along, like the dedicated Geico claims team available to you in the event of an accident to get you back on the road quickly, or how your smartphone charges faster when you put it on airplane mode.
Wow, what if I put it on rocket mode?
It's something you can't believe you never realized before, like how Geico's industry-leading app lets you pay your bill, file a claim, manage your policy, or summon help when you need it. Or how those holes in your shower caddy are there so you can store your shampoo bottles upside down.
Showers happen fast when you're not waiting on shampoo.
Great service. It's just one of the many reasons to switch to Geico. They're all right there in front of you.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne, broadcasting 97.5 Murfreesboro, 106.3 Williamson County,
ESPN
102.5 The Game, and the Game Nashville app.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Live from the Game Nashville studios, it's time for Darren, Donick, and Chase. With hosts Darren McFarland, Willie Donick, and Chase McCabe. On Nashville's best sports talk,
ESPN
102.5 The Game.
It's time! Shot broken up in front, and what a slick backhand try right in front of Chris Mason. And now the quick pass down the middle, breaking in, and the backhand stopped by Chris Mason. And Marlowe with a 2-on-1, a 3-on-1, and what a stop by Mason. Chichu right in front, and what a stop on Ekman by Mason. And goal, number 3, Chris Mason.
We are hour number 3, DDC on this Wednesday afternoon. Darren McFarland, Willie Donick, Derek Mason, and Chris Mason. D. Mason, C. Mace in the mix as the team will head out here shortly to head to Ottawa tomorrow night, a 6 o'clock puck drop. Predators and Senators up there. P. Weber and Hal Gill will have your call here on these airwaves. I'll have pregame at 5, and Willie and C. Mace, and then their television crew on Bally Sports will have their coverage beginning at 5:30 as always. C. Mace, what's going on? I want to start with the power play, which obviously garnered a lot of attention last night. I think what I loved about the power play, and Hal and I were discussing this in postgame last night, is not only just the movement, but the different looks. And you as a goaltender can appreciate that, right? Hal can appreciate that as a defenseman and a guy that killed off a lot of penalties. But whenever you're not sure what the team is doing with the man advantage, typically you know, at times you're going to be in trouble, and Minnesota was in trouble last night.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, D-Mace can tell you how much tape those guys do in football, but hockey does the same when, special teams is a huge part of it. And, depending on your personnel, a lot of times ahead of time, what to look for, what teams' tendencies are, who they're going to, try to hit on certain plays. But the way the Predators have done it this year, there's a lot of movement of where they are on the ice. They're not just stationary. They're not in the same position. They're not just looking for, somebody's one-timer on the flank, on the tops of the circles. There's lots of movement with the players on the ice, and then the looks that they try to, the plays that they try to score on are different. So when you're an opposing team and you're in the video room and you're scouting the Nashville Predators, you're like, well, on this one they did this, and this, and they went for the high tip. Johansson in the slot. On this one, he's on the half wall and he's walking in, and Duchesne's in front of the net, and Forsberg's in front of the net, and I feel it increases your chances to make plays and to kind of, I guess, confuse the penalty kill. And it's been a real big bright spot, I think, for this team that, quite honestly, the last 5 or however many years has been more of a negative than something that's really helped them win. And this year, the way that Dan Lambert and the guys have committed to the new structure, or maybe not as much structure on the power play, has paid huge dividends. And they've scored big goals all year long. And going into the playoffs, I look back to that Dallas series. I think they went 1 for 15 or something like that. To me, that was the difference in the series when they lost. And you go into a playoff series, and where 5-on-5, it's tough to score goals. You need your power play to step up. So it's a real good sign for me for the Preds moving forward here.
Not to bring up those bad memories, but I think it was over. I think it was over 50.
Yeah, maybe it was over. It was something like that. Yeah, it might have been over 15 or something. But it was a difference in the series.
Yep, no doubt about it. I thought Tomasino got moved up last night. I've been saying for weeks on this show when we've been discussing it that just me playing couch coach, I would move up Tomasino, and they did that last night, and he produced 3-point night. What have you seen out of him this season? We forget sometimes these guys, their age. He's 20 years old.
Well, I think they've handled his situation right. You know, he's really developed and progressed at a great rate because he's really invested, obviously, in his career, which is great to see that he loves the game. You hear all the coaches. He's a super coachable guy. Just loves it. He's got that passion and that hunger to get better, and he wants to be a player in the National Hockey League. He just doesn't want to be in the National Hockey League. He wants to be a good player. So I think by having him play on the third, fourth line majority of the year, giving him some power play time, you're teaching him the game. You're teaching him a side of the game that he's never really had to play until now because he's always been a top player. He's always been a goal scorer. The game at those levels for that type of player is easy. It comes easy to them, but when you get to the National Hockey League, it's a different story. And he's been committed. Like I have a ton of respect for the way that he's come into this season and embraced every role. You know what? I'm on the fourth line. I'm playing with some big guys. We go to the net. We play Predators hockey, and he just loves it. You know, he's a skilled player. So I think the fact that they've slow played that and really done that a good job of managing, his progress. I think this season. When you put him into those situations on the top line, this is something he's done his entire life. So now he understands the game. Now it's kind of slowed down for him a little bit. It's not coming at him 100 miles an hour. And when he gets put in this situation, you're setting him up, for success. So whether he can do that consistently going down the stretch for 20 minutes a game and, night in, night out, that's yet to be seen with the mental toll and the pressure that takes. But, I mean, this kid's he's handled everything that they've thrown at him. So, he's a future top six forward, so that's where he should be playing. But he did a great job. He's done that all year. Any situation he's played in, he's had great success.
See, Mace, do you think that the team notices the perception of them, at least what I perceive, that when they're playing really good teams, you get their A game, and typically, they're winning those types of games. But when they're playing against teams that are a little less inferior to them, they usually play down to their competition and then have to struggle to, come back and win the game, or they just might drop one to a team that they should, normally beat.
Absolutely. I've seen that all season long, and I've played on teams where, that it's such a mental challenge. You can go in the room and before the game and you're saying all the right things, like, hey, don't take these guys lightly. Don't take the centers, a hard-working team. They got talent, all this kind of stuff. But if you're not prepared with it, you have to have a little bit of a fear factor, I find, especially if you're a middle-of-the-road team or, a middle standings team. You can't think that you're better than you are for a second, because I feel once you do, and anybody in sports knows this, unless you're like a Colorado where you can maybe coast against certain teams and you're going to get your, McKinnon's going to get his goals or whatever, and you're going to coast through it and have a sloppy game but still win. The Predators aren't that team. I feel like they have worked so hard on establishing who they are as a team, and I feel like they owe it to themselves and to every other team in the league to give them that game, because if you don't, and we've seen it, this is a great question, we've seen it a lot recently and a lot this season. If you don't bring that game and that level of intensity to every team in this league, you're not going to win. And, what the stakes are right now and playoff seeding and potentially looking at, trying to get ahead of St. Louis, and, you want to play Minnesota or you want to be in your division, and that third seed is the ideal spot. Like, what's your goal? Like, do you want to just get in, or do you want to finish third in the Central? So I think you have to kind of look past the competition at this point and say, boys, we got to get in. We got to win. We got to be fired. Our identity every single game going to playoff. I hope, and I expect the Ottawa game, because they play hard and they're physical, and they just saw them here last week, so they know what to expect from, the Senators. I hope that's not an issue going down the stretch. But to your point, D-Mace, they're playing a lot of the top teams because they do seem to bring their A game. They rise to that level, so their schedule allows for them to get to that level a lot more.
We got Chris Mason, Derek Mason. Great segment going on. D. Mason, C. Mace, talking Predators here. So, C. Mace, let's talk about UC Saros. We were texting throughout the game. You know, it was so nice to see Nashville really look like themselves. They were dictating play. The physicality was in there. They matched what Minnesota was trying to do with the fights and things like that. But at the same time, at the end of the night, Minnesota had a lot of chances and a lot of quality. But UC Saros, man, was he awesome last night.
Yeah, that's a good sign. I mean, look, Minnesota's a good team. They're a top high-end team. They made some excellent moves at the deadline, addressed some of their deficiencies. But I think moving forward, you can't afford to give up. You can't afford to give up chances like that. You know, you can't play like that every single. Well, maybe he can. We've seen him do it for long stretches of time. But you know, to give themselves the best chance if they're going to play at Calgary or if they're going to play, you know, a Colorado, you can't defend like that every single night and expect him to, you know, to stop 40-70, Renee. So that's kind of one of the areas I feel like they're trying to get back. There's some turnovers and just some lapses that I feel haven't been there all season that, for whatever reason, just kind of creeps into their game. So I'm trying to hope, you know, that's something that they shore up right now, because when you talk about what type of team they want to be, playing hard to play against isn't just scoring goals and, you know, hitting and physicality and fighting people. It's defending. It's giving teams nothing. So they have to kind of ramp that up and get more of a playoff-style mindset, I think.
And I think it's a great big picture question around the league. And I try to keep that in mind, Mace, when we talk about it, because there's no doubt it's hard to stop teams right now, and you're used to the Predators being able to lock down. But a lot of teams are having trouble with it. Look at the game last night between Florida and Toronto, 7-6. Goal scoring is up right now. So that is a trend around the league. I think the answer by the numbers is pretty obvious, but we're seeing things that we haven't seen in this era at all in terms of teams' ability to come back and score goals. Goal scoring is way up. It's hard to be a goalie these days.
Yeah, well, that's a great point, because it is, and we talk about that all the time. I've just never seen. I look at obviously we're looking at the scoreboard every single night and seeing 6-5, 7-4 these games. I mean, it's just crazy, because traditionally every year, the second half of the season, the goal scoring goes down. It's just the way it is. Teams lock it down. They're tight hockey games. You know, you get those one-goal playoff games where teams aren't, you know, being as, you know, loosey-goosey in their coverage and playing pond hockey. They're trying to lock it down and get ready for playoffs and do whatever it takes to win hockey games. But I don't even know why. Is it the league is getting so much better? Is it just, I don't know. Is it the way they're calling games? I have no idea. But there just seems to be, every game you watch, there's scoring chances left and right. Like, I wonder if this is going to translate into playoffs, because I don't remember seeing anything like this, not when I played and not since I've retired either. So it's going to be something to keep tabs on for sure. But I guess you can control what you can control, and just don't give them the freebies. That's the only ones I'm concerned about.
Yeah, it's a great question going forward, too, is what are we going to see in the playoffs based on what we're seeing right now in the regular season? Goal scoring, the highest it's been in 25 years. See, Mace, we got a plane to catch. I will see you shortly in row 7 or wherever the heck we are on this thing, and we'll head to Ottawa.
All right, brother. Thanks, boys.
Yep.
All right, Chris Mason joining us here on 102.5 The Game, his weekly appearance. Predators off to Ottawa to play the Senators tomorrow night. More coming on Darren, Donick, and Chase, along with D-Mace on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Sometimes their glass is half full.
That was unbelievable. It was the best NFL draft they've ever had.
Sometimes glass half empty.
What are we getting ourselves into here? Tough game.
And sometimes it's all about the numbers.
One win, and they've gone on this streak, and now they're at 500.
Hang out with Darren, Donick, and Chase from 10 to 2 during your workday. Presented by Curacion CBD on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Watch live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube.
This is Chef John from Kitchen Notes at the Omni Nashville. Invite you to come join us for breakfast and lunch. We are offering some exciting new menu items. For breakfast, we have a smoked prime rib hash. Comes with a sunny side up egg, hominy, caramelized onions. It's a great start to your day. We are featuring a sourdough pancake made with a sourdough bread starter. It's a fun spin on the classic buttermilk pancake. As always, Kitchen Notes is serving biscuits all day. Come join us and create a memorable experience here at the Omni Hotel. Food is all about memories for us. We'd like you to start a new memory here at Kitchen Notes in the Omni Hotel.
Breakfast at Kitchen Notes in the Omni Nashville Hotel.
Bank of England Mortgage has been helping Americans live the dream of home ownership for over 100 years. Since their humble beginnings in England, Arkansas, they've gone from a community bank to a nationwide mortgage lender. BOE delivers innovative mortgage products with superior customer service and the most knowledgeable loan officers in Nashville. Find your nearest location in Middle Tennessee at BOE1214.com or call 615-823-1215. Bank of England Mortgage is a division of Bank of England Mortgage. Equal housing lender, member FDIC, NMLS 418-481.
ESPN 1025 The Game and Smokeville Smoke Shop want to send you to an upcoming Nashville Predators home game. All you have to do is come into Smokeville Smoke Shop at 699 West Main Street in Hendersonville Wednesday, April 20th for their 420 blowout event and visit the game table to enter. While you're at it, be sure to stick around and take advantage of Smokeville Smoke Shop's store-wide discounts, free dab bar, as well as on-site food and dessert trucks and live music. Visit Smokeville Smoke Shop on Instagram for more.
At the United States Postal Service, we deliver packages fast and affordably so you can give your customers what they want when they need it. We're delivering for one-stop shops, mom and pops, pop-ups, startups, retail, wholesale, large scale, small biz, big box, customers, customizers. So no matter what business you're in, we'll always be delivering for you. USPS, delivering for America. Learn more at USPS.com/delivering.
Interact with Darren, Donick, and Chase. Call or text the show at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
Good stuff from Chris Mason. Every week is brought to you by Coleman Tractor, Middle Tennessee's leading Kubota dealer. Back here on the DDC. Speaking of the Preds, tomorrow night, if you're looking for a place to hang to watch them take on the Senators up in Ottawa, how about Headquarters Beercade? Yes, it's the Preds Bud Light watch party. They'll have drink specials, a chance for you to win tickets to an upcoming game. Headquarters Beercade, located at 114 2nd Avenue South, downtown. Puck drops at 6 p.m. tomorrow night. I was looking at, by the way, 3 more points for Roman Josi. And it is amazing, D-Mace, what he's doing this season. He's got 84 points, so he's 1 point away from tying the franchise record for most points in a season, 2 points away from breaking it. Okay, I think everybody feels pretty darn comfortable that's going to happen. But already he's got more points by a defenseman with 84. It's been 25 years, over 25 years, since a defenseman has put up this type of season. In fact, the last time the league saw a defenseman put up numbers like this, there were 6 teams in the league currently that didn't even exist. They weren't even in the league. That's including the Predators. That puts it in perspective what type of season. Of course, this is going back to also our conversation with Jackie Redmond in the first hour. Look, nothing against Makar, and I get it. We're biased here, but we also see him night in and night out. I'm not sure people in other markets see him night in and night out. Makar's a great player on a great team and deserves to be in the discussion too, but I just think overall, when it's all said and done, if the best you're bringing to the table, and I know it's not the best, is the plus-minus, you're going to dig a little deeper, okay? You're going to do a little bit better than that. Come on.
Well, I don't think there's here's sort of the problem, but the fun part about it is that you have 2 very skilled individuals that are playing lights out for their respective teams, but only one can win the award. And you're going to have on one side, oh, my guy should win, and on the other side, no, my guy should win. So, yes, there will be a loser, but ultimately, I think both teams win because, more importantly, the Preds, because if Yossi's not playing this way, I don't think they're in the position that they're in, So, I mean, should he win it? Yeah. But they would tell you McGraw should win it as well. But I know from watching his team that if Yossi's not doing what he's doing, then this team is not in a position that they're in.
You know what's amazing is when you think about it, last night was game 69, so there's 13 games remaining. in the regular season. Yossi is doing what Yossi's doing, right? We've talked about it all season. Philip Forsberg leads the team in goals with 38. Probably going to have a 40-goal season. Another thing nobody's ever done in franchise history. Oh, by the way, Matt Duchene isn't going away. He's not done. Goal 36 last night. I think it was like a 1-on-4. It may have been 1-on-5. I don't know. Maybe it was a 1-on-3, but he had no numbers and still shot. It was an unbelievable shot. The reference we used last night on postgame that you can relate to is like a quarterback rolling out to his right and throwing over to the left side of the field, which typically most coaches are like, no. And then,
don't do it.
Then Derek Mason catches it and like, yes, great job. Right? Like last time he shoots, it's like, no. Oh, okay. Great shot.
Yes.
Unbelievable shot. He's got 36. Career season for him. Career season for Forsberg. Career season for Roman Yossi. Oh, by the way, UC Saros is having an unbelievable year. Johansson hit the 20-goal mark last night, which is the biggest season he's ever had in a Predators uniform. He had a first career hat trick last night. Tanner Jeannot is right in the middle, Rookie of the Year discussion for the Calder. Think about the production he's brought to the table. All that being said, think about all that good, and yet we're still sitting here talking about a team that is fighting for their lives to get in the playoffs. If we would have said that at the beginning of the season, can you imagine the reaction from people, the input from people? If we were going to say, if we would have told people, this is what's going to play out this year, what do you think people's reaction would have been?
Oh, they're in first place.
This team's going to be the number one seed.
Exactly.
Right, exactly what you just said. Or this team's winning the division. Right? We all would have thought that. Well, guess what? It's played out. This team is fighting for their playoff lives. Now, they're in, and they've been in, and their odds, if you look at the numbers, the percentages are fantastic, right, that they're going to get in. But the fact is, they still have to keep playing at a high pace. They still have to keep collecting points. There's no coasting. There's no cruising. They have to keep their foot on the gas or they won't make it. None of us would have said that, right? Nobody would have said that if we would have told you, okay, this is what we know coming into the season, okay? Here's the deal. Roman Yossi is going to play like a defenseman hasn't played in this league in 3+ decades. He's going to play better than the year he won the Norris. What? Yeah. In fact, he's going to have the most points any player's ever had in franchise history. Wow. Okay, that's cool. Philip Forsberg, he's going to get 40 goals this season. He's going to go where no player has ever gone in franchise history. Wow. Okay, well, it is a big year for him. We know he's set to be a UFA. So, okay, he explodes. He has a monster year. You're not going to believe this. Matt Duchene, who had 13 points last year, he's going to have 40 goals this season. First of all, if you would have said that alone, Derek, people would have been like, I need a defibrillator. Okay, somebody say clear. I just fell out of my chair. Like, no way. Yeah, yes way. That's going to happen. Shane's going to have 40 goals this season. After people would have been like punch drunk, right? Then you're going to say, oh, and just to throw couple of little extras, a little cherry, nuts, and whipped cream, Johansson will have the most goals he's ever had since he's been here. What? Are you serious? Yeah, he will. And UC Saros is just going to be UC Saros for the season. There's no doubt. There's no way anyone would say, oh, well, this team, and Tanner Jeannot, by the way. And Tanner Jeannot may be the Rookie of the Year. I think he's going to probably get snubbed. But let's say he's going to have – Tanner Jeannot's going to have 25 goals, 26 goals. Or maybe break the rookie goal record. Maybe he gets 27. If you would have said that at the beginning of the season, said, look, this is what's going to happen, there is not one person on our text line or phone line that would not have said adamantly, this team is a no-brainer for the playoffs. Probably wins the division, high seed, home ice advantage, no-brainer, right? Which I could see why But that isn't the case. That's what's crazy about all that. Say all that out loud and then say, oh, and by the way, this team has got to keep winning down the stretch or they won't make the playoffs. What?
That, I guess you can look at it. You can look at it, I guess you can't look at it from that standpoint. I was about to say, I guess you can look at it from two ways, but I guess you can't, because if these guys are not having the seasons that they're having, led by Yossi, then this team is they're not in the position that they're in now. In the position that they're in now, they're still fighting for a playoff spot. That's the crazy part about it. It's like all these guys are having career years. Rookies are having career years as a rookie. But yet and still this team finds themselves in this sort of 4-team race, and it's steady. Everybody's jockeying for position, for those last few slots in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's good or bad, honestly. If you really think about it, like,
we just laid out,
like, what if those guys just all of a sudden their game is off a little bit, all of them, or 2 out of the 4 or 5, or 3 out of them for the next handful of games? This team would be in serious jeopardy of not making the playoffs.
Well, I think what we've learned, it's a good point. I think what we've learned, Derek, is the way this season is played out league-wide, if you didn't have those things happen, you had no chance.
Yeah, you're right.
The point is scoring is crazy, right? Just look at the scoreboard. I mean, it is not uncommon. Just the other night, I think it was Pittsburgh who hung 11. 11 goals in a night. What? Florida gets down 5-1 at home to Toronto last night and wins 7-6. 7-6 is not an uncommon score. It's not. 5 and 6 goals is pretty much, the norm. It's kind of what you look around the league night in and night out. There's none of that. The scoring, like, you have to. The point is, you have to. Like, you're just very rarely. Like, it's almost now, it's like a big deal if you see 1-0. If you see 2-1. Like, those scores Senators scored 6 last night. Avalanche scored 6, which, they've been doing basically all year. The Preds scored 6 goals.
There were 5 teams that, I think it's 5 teams that scored 5 or more goals in the game last night.
That's pretty much business as usual.
Yeah.
In the league. That's the point. Like, I guess the point of the conversation is, and what you were just saying is, well, now we've realized, man, that had to happen.
Yeah.
Or this team you're not in playoff contention if you're not getting that. Like, you have to have that production. In today's game, in today's league, you have to. Because the over-unders are as high as I've ever seen them in the league.
So would that be a testament of how good of a coaching job that Coach Hines has done this year?
Sure.
Yeah.
By the way, you've kind of heard all that chatter go away.
Yeah.
There was news on Tennessee basketball front that we learned after our show yesterday, right? We learned about that. Some interesting news on another front that we'll discuss on the other side as you listen to the DDC ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Every Wednesday, it's me, Jared Stillman, against Joe Rexroad for Jared versus Joe. Brought to you by Parman Tractor and Equipment. Visit ParmanTractor.com, your Middle Tennessee link belt and Takeuchi dealer.
The 2022 Major League Soccer season is officially here, and Nashville SC's new home, Geodis Park, is nearly complete. Don't miss Nashville SC's home opener May 1st. Secure your season tickets now. Come on and grab a seat at NashvilleSC.com/22ticks.
Do I need Medicare when I turn 65, or can I wait?
With more than 70 years of experience helping Tennesseans, Farm Bureau Health Plans can answer all your questions about Medicare.
Part A, B, C, D. It's all alphabet soup to me.
So if you're looking for an affordable way to cover the gaps left by Medicare or protection from the high cost of prescription drugs, you can plan on us to make it easy. Find out more at fbhp.com. Farm Bureau Health Plans. Plan on us.
Thinking about making a change? You've put in the years and had success, but ready for something more? Well, good news. Little Guys Movers is looking for folks just like you to own and operate their very own Little Guys Movers franchise. From Broadway to Brentwood to Mount Juliet, if you can hear my voice, there's an affordable, profitable Little Guys franchise opportunity nearby. Use your existing 401k to invest in yourself. Financing options are available. Join a team with 30-plus years of growth and good times. Learn more at littleguysfranchise.com and then make that call.
Zines First is the official sign company for 1025 The Game. Go to sfnash.com.
You know it's going to happen, and when your car needs service or repair, remember Mitchell's Mr. Transmission on Gallatin Road, just north of Briley Parkway. Now here's Jim Mitchell.
Our fleet vehicle program is a great benefit to all the fleet companies in Nashville. We are able to get their vehicle back on the road a lot quicker than the downtime of most dealers and most general repair shops, simply because we have the transmissions available. We're able to put priority on their vehicles to get them back on the road quickly.
You know it's going to happen, and when your car needs service or repair, remember Mitchell's Mr. Transmission on Gallatin Road, just north of Briley Parkway.
Hit City is back. Play ball.
Driven in the air, high and deep left field. That's gone.
As your Nashville Sounds continue their series against the Durham Bulls.
Swing and a miss. Strike three. Sounds win.
Coverage starts at 6:20 on your home for Nashville Sounds Baseball.
ESPN
94.9 and the Game Nashville app.
Hey Nashville, this is Vanderbilt head coach Jerry Stackhouse. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 1025 The Game.
Coach Stack, sorry about your heels, man. We talked to Jerry Stackhouse Monday from down in New Orleans. He was down there to root on his beloved North Carolina team. Great game, but
came up short.
Just a little bit short. Back here on the DDC, speaking of that front, let's start there. After we got off the air yesterday, a little bit later, nice message on social media. That's how we usually find things out these days, especially with athletes. One Vols basketball player said goodbye to the fan base and said thanks for the memories for a year. I don't think it's any great surprise, right? But Kennedy Chandler is indeed going to take his talents to the NBA. And I don't think anybody's surprised by it. And now makes, and we really, if you were looking for the true hint, again, not that this is any groundbreaking, they're like, oh, what? He's leaving? No. Yeah. But if you really wanted to connect the dots, I think we kind of saw it in the handshake line, right, after they lost to Michigan.
Yeah. Sort of his farewell.
In other words,
cry.
He knew, right? He knew that was it. He knew that was the last game. And now we know it's official. It's his last game.
Yes.
So how will that affect them moving forward?
Well, they're going to have to find another point guard. I mean, they have to find another starting point guard. They have a guard already. They need the one to complement to replace Chandler. And it's the 5-star kid that came in and did everything that you asked him to do. And you had to have known, which I'm sure Barnes knew, that this is a one-and-done kid, And
I agree.
You try to get the championship, at least get to the Final Four, but it didn't happen. And I guess I'm sort of, more so this would be another, check for you. How many times are you going to continue to get these 5-star kids and not win a championship? Or at least get to the Final Four?
Yeah, and I
in
know
regards to Barnes, in regard to Rick Barnes, yeah.
Yeah, because there's I guess hints that some key players will be coming back, and people are excited about that. I've also had somebody the other day tell me, man, did you see the Vols? They're already, how high they're ranked. And I'm like, look, man, I don't want to be the Baby Ruth in the punch bowl, but really, you're going to get excited over preseason rankings. I mean, okay, that's great. Again, to be Debbie Downer, but okay, they'll probably have a great regular season. But is that really where we are on the discussion on this Tennessee basketball team and Rick Barnes? Don't you need to see it? We know they're probably going to be good in the regular season. Mm-hmm. We know they're going to be highly ranked because, as you just said, he's done a really good job on the recruiting trail. He's done a really good job of bringing in 5-star athletes. Wow, players that you look at right away and go, well, that's one and done. But who cares? You just hope that one and done can lead you to a long run. Mm-hmm. Well, we know that hasn't happened, but it's wow. I mean, can you really get excited this early? Can you really get excited about next year? At this point, there's a lot. I mean, quite honestly, I think the same will hold true for the Titans and Ryan Tannehill. You're not going to be judging him throughout the course of the regular season unless he's just incredibly awful, right? Mm-hmm. Unless the wheels just come off. He's ultimately going to be judged in January. If they get back to the playoffs, this is when every fan base will buckle up and say, oh, boy, give me a towel, and here we go. Let's see what happens. That's just, I think Tennessee basketball is there. Now that Rick Barnes has been there long enough, and unfortunately the same history, the same pattern that he has brought from Austin has played out in Knoxville. He's a tremendous coach. Probably, who knows? He may probably be a Hall of Famer one day. He's had a lot of success. He just hasn't had the tournament success. It is amazing to see how good he is and how the long magical runs really haven't followed him in 3 decades as a head coach. And I just think they're in the same place. Tannehill, the same thing. It's well, that'll be great in the regular season, but everybody is now at the point with 2 one-and-dones in the playoffs. Okay, now what you got if they get to the playoffs? Because that's ultimately where it is. I just don't think there's any wiggle room on either one. Do you agree or disagree?
No, I agree. Do I think, in regards to Barnes, do I think that UT will, if they don't make it to the Final Four, that they'll be looking for a new coach? No, I don't think that's going to happen. Even if they don't make it to the Elite Eight, they're still not looking for a new coach. If they don't make it to the Sweet 16, they're still not looking for a new coach. He's their coach, okay? Unless the bottom just falls out and this team just looks horrible, like they're not even coached, then okay, you possibly can make a change. Ryan, I said it yesterday, and people may not agree with me, that to me, it's Super Bowl or we're looking for another quarterback. It's simple. And I'm going to throw another caveat in there. If they don't make it to the Super Bowl, why does A.J. Brown come back if Ryan's the quarterback? You got to look at it from that standpoint too. If he ends up doing the same thing he did next year as a receiver, a number 1 receiver, why am I coming back if he's still going to be the quarterback? I want to go somewhere where I can look at the quarterback and say, okay, that quarterback, with this quarterback, it's not going to be his fault that we don't win in the playoffs. It might be somebody else's fault. It might be the defense's fault, but it's not going to be the quarterback's fault. These are all the things you got to look at as well.
Why would it be – so you said Super Bowl or bust yesterday. Why would that be the case for Tannehill, but yet Rick Barnes is – now that Krzyzewski's retired, top, 4th highest paid coach in the country now? But yet he doesn't have to produce?
Because college and I think college sports and, well, that's not because college football is totally different, something different. Besides college football, college sports is a little bit different from the NFL or
is it?
Or what. I think it is. I think
really.
I think college basketball affords you sort of a longer. They give you more chances. Let's just say that, because turnover is so high in college basketball, one and dones, transfer portals, all this other stuff. Mm-hmm. There's just a high turnover. Well, in the NFL,
the transfer portal in football is impossible to even follow anymore.
Yeah, it's just
But
one of those
to your
deals.
point, they don't have the one and done. Obviously, they get kids for 3 years.
Exactly. Well, basketball is one and done. Now, if Chandler was coming back, there should be no excuse why that team, with him leading it, shouldn't at least get to the Final Four. Another year under his belt, another year of experience. If he would have came back for a sophomore year, I don't think he would have been on the hot seat, meaning Rick Barnes, but I think there would have been a lot of people out there looking at him like, man, if you're going to do it, this has to be the year. Your best player's coming back.
Yeah. Nate on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHunter.com, says, as a Vols fan, I like Barnes. The Vols basketball program has been down for so long in all aspects except for the short Bruce stint, of course being Bruce Pearl. Just being up is a nice change of pace. Oh, okay. I'm not suggesting that anyone should feel a certain way. If you're
but when do you get past that, Darren? When did you get past that thinking?
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, I just thought that, I thought it just meant more. I thought that was the whole slogan for the SEC. Yeah. It just means more. I guess regular season is enough. I don't – look, like I said, everybody can feel however they want. I'm just curious. Like, you go through all this, interest level and excitement and buildup, and you look at this team. Oh, they got screwed. They should have been a 2 seed. Oh my gosh, they got hosed. And it's like, and then they win one game against Longwood, and then they're out in the second round, and you're like, okay, cool. Well, at least it was fun. I mean, that was at least they're the program's. Okay, there is a truth to that. At least they're good. They're competitive. They're getting to the tournament. That's great. But, I mean, at what point do you push past that? Like, you don't have any expectations? You don't want the run? I mean, of course you want it, but why? He's getting paid to produce the run. Mm-hmm. So you don't want that? You're just okay with, hey, it's, the program's up and things are good, selling out games. And I mean, that's okay. If that's your standard, that's fine. I mean, I'm just wondering. Everybody likes him. Everybody says he's a good coach, but it's like, okay, well, everybody, the other coaches that we identify as really, really good coaches, they make runs in the tournament. And it's like, how many times is this going to keep happening before at some point people are frustrated with it and they want more? But I'm not calling for his head. I didn't say he's on a hot seat, but I'm just pointing out, like, I am just amazed at his tournament failures.
Well, if it's not the hot seat, it's a first you went from a lazy boy, now you're just in a regular chair. You still got your chair, but it ain't that cushy lazy boy you used to have.
Yeah, it's that one that has no padding.
Exactly.
Chair with no padding.
It's still a sturdy chair.
It's the chair that Rex. Maybe it's the chair though Rexroad was sitting in.
Yeah.
When it collapsed. There in Pete and Terry's Tavern. Maybe it's that chair. I don't know.
Let's hope it's not that chair. I'm sure Rick Barnes hope it's not that chair.
John from Columbia gets mad at me on the text line every time I start talking about Rick Barnes. He wants me to leave him alone. Like every time. Taryn, please leave Rick Barnes alone. Although he just called him Slick Rick in this one. This is the first time I've seen Slick Rick. Please leave Rick Barnes alone. Leave him alone. He's doing a great job. Oh, okay, again.
That's my coach,
That's your standard.
Man.
You leave my coach alone, man. Let's going to go T.O. Also news with a former teammate of yours. Big news. I think this is really cool. We'll discuss that on the other side to close that out. Number 3 plus Jim Wyatt coming up at 1 o'clock as you listen to the DDC ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Thursday night.
Oh, cheeseburgers.
The Predators are back on the road to take on the Ottawa Senators.
A lot of fun playing with this team.
Pre-game at 5, face-off at 6 on Smashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
From Fox 17 News, this is a Code Red weather alert.
I'm Fox 17 News Code Red meteorologist Dan Guthrie. Scattered showers and thunderstorms this afternoon and evening, some of which could be strong to severe, especially east of I-65.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Realizing Geico is your one-stop shop for all your insurance needs is like realizing you can just toss the whole measuring cup into the washer, so it won't get gunked up with laundry detergent.
I guess it doesn't work for coffee mugs, huh?
It's something that's been right in front of you this whole time, like how Geico offers 24/7 emergency roadside service to help you when you need it most. Or how athletic wristbands aren't for your wrists, they're for wiping sweat off your forehead.
Great. So, what are headbands for?
80s night at the dance club. Woo!
It's something you can't believe you never realized before, like how Geico makes it easy to bundle your home and car insurance, with even more ways to save when you add boat, motorcycle, and RV insurance. Or how a pony is its own animal and not just a baby horse.
So, what's a baby pony called?
Getting more ways to save. It's just one of the many reasons to switch to Geico. They're all right there in front of you.
Nashville Sounds Baseball is back, and you can hear every game this season on ESPN 94.9. Grab tickets today as the Sounds host Durham, the AAA affiliate of the Tampa Bay Rays, tonight through Sunday. The action continues on the diamond in 2 weeks as Charlotte, the AAA affiliate of the Chicago White Sox, come to town. And don't forget to visit Third and Home, Germantown's bar with the ballpark, before and after every Sounds game. Visit NashvilleSounds.com for tickets, and we'll see you at the ballpark for Sounds Baseball in Hit City, where every night's a hit.
MLB opening day is here, folks, and right now all customers can swing for the fences with a no-sweat same-game parlay on FanDuel Sportsbook. Joe Rexrode here, inviting you to pick any MLB game, combine at least 3 bets. Again, you can go winner, you can go point spread or money line, first home run hitter, over-under, all kinds of things. Combine 3 into 1 bet for bigger payouts, and if your bet doesn't win, FanDuel will refund you up to $10 in free bets. If you're not sure what to bet on, you can check out FanDuel's popular same-game parlays to see what most fans are betting on and get in on the action. Some of those can be very lucrative. There's no better place to bet America's pastime than on America's #1 sportsbook. And let me just say, watch out this year, perhaps for the Detroit Tigers. Head over to your FanDuel account or download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Sign up using promo code Joe102 and bet your no-sweat same-game parlay today. Again, that's promo code Joe102. You must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is now a double strike code that expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbet.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line, 800-889-9789.
You love Days Delta 8 products. Now follow them on Instagram for special promotions, giveaways, contests for cash prizes, and cannabis education. Make your next Days purchase at any of the 3,500 nationwide stores that hold their products in Informed One. Follow Days.D8Official. That's Days.D8Official on Instagram to see this truly single-source Delta 8 brand behind the scenes. Days 8, the highest quality standard of Delta 8.
Man, this is a nice truck.
Yeah, check this out.
What?
I changed it to remind me of my time at sea.
Weren't you in the Air Force?
Yeah, but I really love the ocean.
You could save and get $200 with Navy Federal Credit Union when you refinance your auto loans from another lender, leaving you with extra to spend on other things. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Credit and collateral subject to approval. Refinance loans must be at least $5,000 to be eligible for the $200. Terms and conditions apply. Learn more at NavyFederal.org.
So, what is Jared Stillman going to say this afternoon?
You got to play if you want to earn $14.6 million next year.
Oh, brother, here we go.
But I'm done on investing money in dudes that can't get on the field.
Tune in to Stillman and Company, weekday afternoons from 2 to 6.
This is some serious stuff right here.
Delivered by TriStar Moving on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Watch live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. If you've missed any of today's show, just search Darren, Donick, and Chase on Apple, Spotify, or on your favorite podcast platform.
Jim White coming up at 1 o'clock. Don't forget, tomorrow morning at 8:45, Preds Pick to Click. Probably know how this works by now. You're going to call in if you get chosen. You're going to pick a player to score a goal. If that happens, you'll win a pair of tickets to an upcoming home game. Preds Pick to Click tomorrow morning, 8:45 to be exact. That's brought to you by New Amsterdam Vodka. Back here on the DDC. Darren McFarland and Derek Mason with you. 2Ds. Former teammate of yours. I thought this was really cool. Did you see this? You know where I'm going with this?
Yes, I do.
Eddie. They're going to play Notre Dame in South Bend yesterday. Next season. I don't know why you said yesterday. I have no idea.
No, you used the words "they're going to" and "yesterday" together.
You used a past tense, present tense, and a future tense all in one sentence to describe the same thing, which I don't think I've
That
ever
is
heard
the
done.
best. I've never heard that.
Save that for Friday, okay? Elijah, put that in the...
I'm sending it to the Louvre. That's what I'm doing.
Oh, man.
That will be in best shots of the week, I have a feeling. Wow. I clearly was trying to multitask, and, that didn't come out right. TSU playing Notre Dame. I think it's Labor Day weekend in South Bend.
What is it, August 26th?
No,
September.
I think it's September 2nd.
Yeah, September 2nd. Their first game is in Dublin, August 26th. Notre Dame's is.
Mm-hmm. And that will be broadcast nationally on NBC.
This is a win for TSU, for Eddie, for the athletic director, Allen.
Now this is in
2023.
Right.
Yeah.
This is not this upcoming. This is the following year in 2023.
But I mean, if it was next year, the year after it doesn't matter. It's still huge for the Tigers. I mean, this is what you want. This is how this helps you build your program. Because you get an opportunity. What all these kids, what do they want? They want an opportunity to do what? To play on a big stage, to play, in front of, 60,000 or, on television, millions of people watching them. And this gives them the opportunity to do that at TSU. And, reading the press release, it's because of Eddie and Allen, their director, that they had the opportunity or having the opportunity to go to South Bend and play. And, what better coach to have than Eddie? Because he can tell you about the mystique of South Bend because he's played there before. He can tell you what you should expect going in because these kids never been in a stadium that big and that, rich in winning championships and history on a gridiron. So kudos to Eddie because I don't think without him as their head coach, do they get this game? I don't think they do.
I'd say you're probably onto something. Well, just to put the significance to this, it's the first time Notre Dame's ever played against an HBCU school.
Mm-hmm.
How about that? This will be the first time ever.
Well, that's
just
good.
to kind of put the perspective. To your point, I agree with you. 100%. That's in play, without a doubt. And it's the same thing Deion Sanders is doing at Jackson State, right? I mean, that name and their head coach is playing a factor in all this. There's no doubt about it. Did you ever play there?
Yes, I played in South Bend my freshman year in college. Yeah, they came to us my sophomore year. But, yeah, I played my freshman year. And, I mean, as a freshman.
Did you actually play?
Yeah, I played in that game. Yeah, I was a special teams guy.
What was it like?
I mean, it was surreal because, I remember Jerome Bettis, I remember, Brown, guys like that, Tim Brown, Ismail. I remember guys like that playing at Notre Dame and having success and big games versus Michigan and whoever else, Florida State. You're watching this as a kid, and then you get an opportunity to play in that stadium. And that was one of the selling points when I got recruited. Like, we played Notre Dame this year at Notre Dame.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. They brought that up on the recruiting
Yeah,
track?
we played Notre Dame at Notre Dame. Because you walk into a kid's room, the living room, and their parents are sitting there.
Now, remember, this is 25 years ago.
Yeah, this is a law, man. We're talking 93.
The reason I bring that up is because, Notre Dame, just think about it, and still it does. It still has the staying power. That's why we're talking about it. But you're talking about 25, 30 years ago. It really was a big to-do.
Exactly. And I still think these young men think of it as that. Like, we get a chance to play in South Bend. You're not going to get that. At HBCU, you may not ever get that opportunity. And these kids get an opportunity to showcase, not just go there and to be a punching bag. No, to go there with the idea of, listen, we're going to give them our best shot. And, we get an opportunity to display our talents in front of everybody. And as a measuring stick, like, where are we as a university, as a program? Where are we, TSU, where are we as a program? And I'm not saying that, they're going to go up there and beat Notre Dame. I don't know. But when you go into a stadium like that with a team like Notre Dame, your game's going to elevate even more. And this is your opportunity to showcase your talent.
Never been there for a game. I've been there. I've been on the field. I've been kicked off the field, just like in the movie Rudy. Hey, get off the field. That literally happened. I've never been there for a game. You know what? Maybe that's my first game next September 2nd. That'd be really cool.
Yeah,
guess I better start talking to Pete Weber, see if I can get some ticks.
Exactly, yeah. Must be in the front row. Nope.
Must be in the front row.
Hey, aren't you the kid we kicked out?
Get out of here! Get off the field! That's what happened.
What if your mug is still up? They're like, nope, you can't come in.
Me and my buddies were running around throwing a football, just like we were recreating a game and just acting like idiots on their field. And yep, he finally found us and screamed at us to get off the field. So we did.
But it felt good, didn't it?
It felt awesome.
Just being on that field.
It was awesome. I felt like we were in the movie, man. We'll come back. Jim Wyatt to begin the final hour. We'll get back into some more Titans talk. Well, ask Jim if he's ever been there. We'll do that next here on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Spring has sprung, which means it's time to renew your home with Social Furniture. It's their Spring Fling sale, where all furniture is up to 50% off. That's right, up to 50% off on top name brands such as Serta, Sealy, Simmons, Caracol, Bernhardt, and Woodhouse. At Social Furniture, you'll find new bedroom furniture, mattresses, and sofas, all up to 50% off. Spring into Social Furniture today on Charlotte Avenue in West Nashville. Shop local, shop social. Social Furniture is a proud supporter of your Nashville Predators.
This segment of ESPN 102.5 The Game is brought to you by Train Heating and Cooling Systems. Tested, retested, engineered, and re-engineered to keep up with you. We run together. Visit traininfo.com to find your local independent train dealer. Traininfo.com. It's hard to stop a train.
Finishing jobs on time, never being idle, and powerful equipment. Meade has the John Deere excavating equipment and the smart grade technology solutions for you and your business. Power your business with a new, used, or rented excavator and get the performance you expect and service you can rely on. Call us today for the equipment built as tough and reliable as you, or visit us at meadtractor.com. That's meadtractor.com.
Smokeville Smoke Shop has been serving Hendersonville and Metro Nashville since 2015 and is committed to providing high-quality, hands-on, and personable customer service. Stop into Smokeville Smoke Shops in Hendersonville, Gallatin, Hermitage, and Goodlettsville to try any of their wide selection of locally sourced products and selection of top nationwide brands, including vapes, hookah, hand-blown glass, detox systems, e-juices, kratom products, leaf wraps, and much more. Visit Smokeville Smoke Shops today.
Finding the right person for the job isn't easy. Just ask someone who hired a lounge singer to be their office receptionist.
Hello, this is Mickey Marquis, and you've reached the office of Doug & Associates. Thank you very much. Catch me Tuesday nights at the Hotel Johnson. Hello?
But if you've got an insurance question, you can always count on your local Geico agent. They can bundle your policies, which could save you hundreds.
Doug & Associates, this is Mickey Marquis. Hello?
For expert help with all your insurance needs, visit geico.com/local today.
And now it's Geico's Motorcycle Rules of the Road. Avoid biking in the rain and never touch another person's bike.
Hey guys, look at these bikes. So shiny. Whoops. I'm gonna leave a note. Oh gosh, there's more.
And the rule to saving on motorcycle insurance is, in 15 minutes, Geico could save you 15% or more.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne. Good morning! Morning! Robbie and Rex Road mornings from 6 to 10.
It's not bad. Might have to work on that. Not bad. It's a starting point.
ESPN.
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
A Cromwell media station.
Live from the Game Nashville studios, it's time for Darren, Donick, and Chase. With hosts Darren McFarland, Willie Donick, and Chase McCabe. On Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 The Game.
Final hour, DDC here on this now starting to rain Wednesday afternoon. Let's talk with Jim Wyatt, TennesseeTitans.com. Jimmy, how we doing?
I'm doing great. How you guys doing?
Doing fantastic. We were just talking at the end of last hour about Eddie George taking TSU and the Tigers to South Bend to take on Notre Dame next September 2nd, so in 2023. Really cool. First time Notre Dame has ever played against an HBCU school. Have you ever seen a game there?
I have. I went up there to see Vanderbilt play. I've been up there twice, both times against Vanderbilt, most recently just a couple of years ago. And it was a great trip. I mean, it was certainly, you you grow up in Nashville, going to high school at a high school with your mascot as the Fighting Irish, and being Catholic, you're either all in on Notre Dame or you can't stand them. And I have to say that, growing up in Nashville, you would think I would be a big Notre Dame fan, but being a Vanderbilt fan and being around so many Notre Dame fans in high school, I never was a Notre Dame fan. But I've been up there twice, and then my experience when I went there a couple of years ago for Vanderbilt was outstanding. The people are just so nice and friendly. The campus is beautiful. I was up there the Friday night before the game, and they've got so many great traditions. And I think they even had the bagpipes playing at midnight that my wife and I went to, and then got up the next morning and tailgated and walked around campus. It was a great trip. So anybody that's affiliated with Tennessee State ought to try to make that trip, because it's very memorable, and I was thrilled to see that. I mean, it's great for Eddie and great for TSU and great for recruiting and great for exposure for the school being on national television. So I wish I could get back up there again to see a game, because it is a great place to see a game and a great place to spend a weekend, even if you're not a big Notre Dame fan.
No doubt about it. We had Rich Samini on the show yesterday talking about the story he put out there about the Jets, missing out on Tyreek Hill, and they're still searching for that, that big-name number one receiver. And you've heard DK Metcalf and Deebo Samuel and A.J. Brown's name being brought up because they're getting close to being done with their contracts. Titans kind of have felt the need, and others, Seattle, everybody's kind of weighed in. They felt the need to comment on this situation. You've seen how, by the way, Stephon Diggs just got a brand-new 4-year extension. You see where the price tag is for receivers these days. It's about $25 million per year. How do you see all this playing out? And what did you make of all that?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I was surprised at how that became such a rumor mill topic. But that's just where we are now in today's media, and really just with, and I think certainly by there being so much crazy feeds into some of that rumor mill stuff, because you think, okay, well, if this happened, you can trade Devontae Adams to the Raiders, or Russell Wilson can go to Detroit, or Matt Ryan to Indy. I mean, it's what's next? Rich Samini's a friend of mine. I've known him for a long time from my days with the Tennessee, and used to trade information with him when he was with, with a newspaper in New York before he moved to ESPN. He's a great guy, but I saw his report, I guess, when I was at the owners' meetings, and then all of a sudden my timeline and my inbox was started filling up with all these questions about AJ being traded and the Titans shopping AJ, and it kind of took on a life of its own. And I know at the owners' meeting I asked John Robinson about it, and let me tell you how that came about, because Stillman on the afternoon show, he sometimes kind of takes things and runs with it. I think somebody told me what he had said, and I went back and listened to it. I think he suggested that maybe the team came to me and said, "Hey, Jim, why don't you write a nice piece on A.J. Brown and how much we love him, to try to help him with help us with contract negotiations," something silly, to be honest with you. And I kind of laughed at it. And the reality is, how that came down is I asked John Robinson about a number of different things the morning of the owners' meetings, and I didn't ask him about AJ because it really was not a topic at that point. But then as I go back to my computer and I'm working on different things, I see this kind of taking on a life of its own on social media. So I said, you know what? I've still got reporters' instincts. I know what's a story. I know what's on people's minds. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to see if I can find John on property just to see if he would say anything about this, to either quash it or at least to give some voice to it. So I found him a couple hours later, and I asked him about A.J. Brown, and he said what he said, and that's how it went down. It wasn't John trying to find me on property. Hey, I want you to write this nice story about AJ to see if he can help him with his help us with negotiations. I went and found him, wrote what he said, and I thought that would actually quash it, because you saw what he said. He said he wanted AJ to be a Titan for life. He was trying to work to get something done to make that happen. But even that didn't stick, because I think people still, 10 days later, people didn't really believe it until Diana Rossini came out, yesterday and said what she said about the Titans not taking calls or shopping them. But that's kind of how that all went about, even though, it was kind of portrayed to be something different.
Now, Jim, I think there's going to have to be a decision made, because, and I think that decision it might come sooner than what the Titans want, because if DK Metcalf, if he gets traded and say he gets a huge contract, and Deebo Samuel, San Francisco says, well, let's get Deebo Samuel locked up because we don't want this price to keep going up. If those two guys end up signing a contract before the season, that does put the pressure on the Titans to either get a contract done or potentially think about, hey, we might have to go in another direction, because this wide receiver money is getting a little bit out of whack.
Well, I mean, I certainly do get that side of it, Derek. I mean, I've seen these contracts for the receivers and know it's going to be a high price to pay. And so how that all plays out, I guess I'd just be speculating like everybody else on that. But I know there's no question that the team wants to keep AJ here, and going to try to do everything it can to make that happen. And then from everything AJ has said, I mean, he loves it here and wants to stay here. I think he tweeted at one point, hey, I'm trying to be a Titan for life. So how that happens, I guess time will tell. But there's no doubt that, some of these other moves that teams have made to retain players or to keep, to keep these players in there one spot or moves that have been or trades that have been made to maybe make that happen. That's all going to at some point influence what happens with AJ, no doubt.
Now another thing I want to bring up is the quarterback position. Not necessarily Ryan, but if indeed the Titans do draft a quarterback in the first round with the 26th pick, or if they move down further and last pick in the first round and still get a quarterback, does that mean that then the quarterback that the Titans have now in Ryan, is he on the clock then? Because to me, I don't think they should get a quarterback. I think they have other needs that they should address. But, the craziest things can happen in a draft. And if you feel, hey, I can get a guy and let him sit for a year and then play him, some teams do take that approach.
Yeah, and certainly, we'll have to see how that one plays out as well. I mean, I sitting here on April the 6th, I can't say that I necessarily expect the team to pick a quarterback with the first pick. I think I'd be surprised, but with the draft, you just never know. And even leading up to the draft, when Marcus was picked back in 2015, I didn't really, you kind of learn things as time passes, and as you get closer, maybe things crystallize a little bit more. I'm not hunting like I used to, trying to find nuggets or maybe what's going on, the way things are changing. But so, I mean, maybe some stuff is being talked about behind the scenes that they're certainly never going to tell me. But I will say that if, let's say, the team did end up picking a quarterback, number 26, then, yeah, I mean, you're picking that guy to play. Now, obviously, that's just pure speculation. Again, on April the 6th, I'm not expecting it. But if in the event that happens, yeah, I think it would change the outlook moving forward.
Now, how confident you believe the Titans are with the receivers behind AJ and Robert? Because, I mean, they did show flashes last year. Those guys that played, but do the Titans feel comfortable enough that, if they don't go get another veteran guy, if they draft a receiver later in the rounds, that the guys that we have are good enough?
Yeah, and I'll just answer what I think and not what John and Mike might think, because they, again, even though I work in the building, I'm sitting over here at 460 Great Circle Road in my office now. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're thinking that I know exactly what they're thinking. Personally, I'm looking at the receiver position. I see A.J. Brown, and I see a guy that's heading into the last year of his contract, and I see Robert Woods, and think that was a great acquisition. But obviously, he is coming off of an ACL, and he's not getting any younger. And then I see Nick Westbrook-Akina, who has flashed, but I think at this point probably has not proven that he's a 1 or a 2, and probably a good 3. And maybe with opportunity, maybe he can emerge. And then I see a bunch of guys behind him, like with question marks, whether it's Des Fitzpatrick or whether it's, Mason McMath or Josh Malone and Cody Hollister and, Mason Kinsey. I think I've named all the guys that are currently on the contract. I mean, I still think this team needs help there, and I still think receiver is in play at number 26. I mean, because you need more, and B, I think you could use a burner in this group, to add to the group. So I don't know if they feel the same way, but personally, I think receiver ought to be in play at 26.
Last thing, yes or no, Scottie Pippen Jr. back next year?
I would say no, just because I think I'd be surprised. I think everybody expected him to go to the NBA last year. It didn't happen. I think I'd be surprised if he did it, if he came back again. But hopefully we will. I enjoy seeing him play. Certainly a heck of a player. Vanderbilt's got a good recruiting class coming in. They certainly showed a lot of promise at the end of last season. So I'd love to see him back. But I think I've kind of conceded that he's probably moving on.
You may be wrong on this one. So maybe we'll see.
Let's hope he is.
May get some good news. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. Hey, appreciate the visit as always, Jim. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll talk soon.
Okay, sounds good. Y'all have a good one. Thank you.
Yep.
Jim Wyatt, TennesseeTitans.com is where you can find his work. We'll continue the discussion on the other side. ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Inside knowledge on the Titans.
Todd Downey's got his notepad out right now, just writing things down.
Inside knowledge on the Predators.
They can go right into the forecheck, and boom, you get a beautiful goal from Colton Sissons.
And then there's a team in Knoxville.
How excited should Tennessee fans be by what they've seen from Josh Heupel in year one?
Wake up and hang out with Robbie and Rexroad. Weekday mornings from 6 to 10. Brought to you by Little Guys Movers on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Watch live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube.
BetOnline.net is your #1 source for all your betting needs and sports info. Find all of the latest sports developments, including this week's Masters Championships odds, podcasts, and reviews for all the different leagues this season. BetOnline.net is your continued source for all your sporting wagering information, including live betting, esports, and scores. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends in action. BetOnline.net, where the game starts.
The racing, the big one, the camping, it's all just bigger at Talladega. And with a doubleheader on Saturday and the premiere of the next-gen cars on Sunday, it's just going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. NASCAR's biggest and baddest track is back. The Talladega NASCAR Weekend, April 23rd through the 24th. Get your tickets now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
How can a half-carat diamond magically grow into a 2-carat diamond? With Genesis Diamond's 110% diamond upgrade guarantee.
Our trade-up policy is the best in the United States.
That's Stasia at Genesis, explaining how if you buy a diamond today and want to trade it in for a bigger one next year, Genesis always gives you back your original purchase price plus an extra 10%.
We will gladly give you every single penny you paid for the diamond plus an extra 10%, which is amazing. No one does that.
As a real-life example, take Stasia's customer, Paul.
When he first started, he got a half-carat, and then as he became more successful, we rewarded him. He came in and he got a 3/4 carat, and then he's traded for a carat. I'm sure I'll see him this year for 1.5 carats. As they grow and change and become more successful, their engagement ring can grow with them also.
And there's no catch, no minimum trade-up requirement, and it works on diamond studs and diamond pendants as well.
You get every single investment dollar you put into the diamond, you will get an extra 10% towards the new diamond.
Genesis Diamonds and luxury pre-owned Rolexes.
You can trade as many times as you wish.
Continuously voted best jewelry store and best place to buy an engagement ring. Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Golf fans, Pro Golf hits Nashville with the PGA Korn Ferry Tour Simmons Bank Open May 5th through the 8th, and you can win a VIP experience for 4 people. Text the word golf right now to 615-737-1025 to enter.
Okay, easy now. You're teaching your kid how to parallel park. Ouch! Turns out he likes to do it by feel. Don't worry, eBay Motors has bumpers, taillights, trunk lids, license plate holders, 122 million parts. Pull up just a little bit. And headlights. They've got lots of headlights. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
Hey, I'm Matthias Ekholm, and this is Smashville.
Ekholm, his shot, he scores! Matthias Ekholm gets the Predators' third of the night.
You're listening to the flagship of the Nashville Predators radio network, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Interact with Darren, Donick, and Chase. Call or text the show at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
You can stop by Social Furniture at 5412 Charlotte Avenue. That's in Nashville. Enter for a chance to win a pair of tickets to see the Predators and Blackhawks. Saturday, April 16th at Bridgestone Arena. Don't forget to check out their new sofas while you're there. Must be 18 years of age or older to enter the contest. No purchase necessary. Back here on the DDC. I want to know your takeaway from what Jim Wyatt said when he was discussing A.J. Brown, when he was down there, the owners' meetings.
I mean, from what I can gather is, the Titans want AJ to be here. They would like to get a contract done and sort of get past this sort of speculation of, them trading him to any team, let alone the Jets. They want him here. If I'm to believe what Jim said, and I do, they want him here and they want to try to get him signed. So you can't take much more than that. Now, here's what's going to be the sort of the caveat to all of this. It's going to make it really interesting. And I said it to Jim. If DK Metcalf gets traded and gets this huge contract, because once he gets traded, he's going to get a contract a couple of days later. That's just how it works. And then Deebo Samuel, and then, San Francisco looks and says, oh, man, we need to lock him up now. And Deebo Samuel gets this huge contract before the season starts. What do you think the Titans are thinking now? They're either thinking, we need to lock AJ up now, get this over with, or let's start taking some of those phone calls. I don't, what Rossini said, I don't, it's neither here nor there with me. I mean, because I've heard NFL GMs say one thing and they do another. Somebody's always out there putting, doing their bidding, putting things out there for them, whether it be true or not.
Basically through the organization.
Exactly. Absolutely. Whether it be true or not, I don't know. But we've seen time after time after time where the team says one thing, the reporter comes out and says, the team says they're not doing this. This is what they're doing. And then weeks later, they do something totally different. So I know she's doing her job and she's great at her job possibly. But when I see that, I'm just like, okay, for now, things can change. Not to say that they are, but things can change. Nobody's 100% locked into anything. I told you before. Only thing definite is death and taxes. That's it. Everything else has a lot of wiggle room.
Fair.
So let's not even watch AJ Brown situation closely. Let's watch DK Metcalf and Deebo Samuel's situation closely, because Stephon Diggs has already signed his deal. It's his extension. Who's next?
Yeah, I think DK is the really interesting one because I think, one, the uncertainty of Seattle's future, and well, he had Russell Wilson throwing to him, and A.J. Brown had Ryan Tannehill. I mean, whatever you feel about it, Russell Wilson is viewed as a top-tier quarterback. True?
No, he is.
So his stats are a little bit better. But, DK Metcalf in 2020 did have 83 catches for over 1,300 yards and 10 touchdowns. I think what he's been kind of a touchdown monster, right?
It's either feast or famine with him.
Yeah. I guess where I go back with A.J. Brown, and that's – look, I don't doubt one way or the other. I don't know truly how they feel, but I don't doubt that they do want to lock him up, for that next contract. But the question is how do you assess, like, everything that we're throwing out there, at least a lot of the comparables this offseason and last offseason, are more proven guys. The guys that have done it more consistently have just flat-out better numbers. And so I think everybody sees him, and I understand you're saying, just like the Corey Davis, in this system. And I'm sure A.J. Brown's agent will tell them, well, you know what, if he had Aaron Rodgers throwing to him, or Russell Wilson, or, one of these other quarterbacks in the league that we did, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, these guys, his numbers would look just like all the other top-tier receivers, and maybe that's true. And I'm sure that does happen in the negotiations. But the fact is, John Robinson will look at him and say, well, you want, let's say $25 million a year. You threw out, what'd you say, $65 million guaranteed?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, Stephon Diggs in 2020 had 127 catches, over 1,500 yards. I mean, that's almost 2 seasons of catches. Actually, if you add up 2020 and 2019, that's 2 seasons. And the 2020 year was the most catches A.J. had. So the 2 years before this last season, those added up to Stephon Diggs' numbers. You could say, well, that's 2 seasons worth just to get 1 season out of Diggs. Like, why would I pay him the same amount of money? Now, the counter again, this is what it's fun with these negotiations, right? Especially when you don't have to do it and you don't have anything at stake. It's fun to do this on the air. Well, the counter is, well, he's 5 years younger. Okay. Dang it, that's a good one. Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. But the other guy has proven. So what is the right number, right? It's like both can keep countering back and forth, and both have valid points. But ultimately, how does that get you to the finish line on the right number? I don't know. How much does AJ want to be here? I mean, how badly does he want to be here? Is it like, man, this is where I love, this is where I want to be. He doesn't have any interest anywhere else. I don't know that. I suspect he wants to be here, but I don't know, how much he really wants to be here. Remember how when we had the Matthias Ekholm conversation? You notice how we were never, it was never in panic mode? Because I would get on here every day and say, or every time we talked about it, but he really, really wants to be here. He's at the point of his career. He's drafted here. He's been here forever. They got 2 kids now, and, they're just – that he wants to be here. This is where he wants to finish up. Landeskog was the same way in Colorado, right? I don't know. I suspect that with A.J. Brown, but I don't know that. He doesn't have a long history here, so I suspect he feels that way. But how do you – without knowing some of the variables behind the scenes, how do you truly know what his number is?
Yeah, I mean, you don't. You really don't. And again, you want to be here until you don't want to be here. And the money will dictate whether you want to be here or not. So I know everybody screams that, but in reality, it's, I want to be here only if the money's right. But if the money ain't right, I don't want to be here. And then people say, well, state tax. Well, if state tax was a big bearing on whether he leaves or not, a guy's moves or not, guys would never go to California. Guys would never go to New York. Guys would never go to Detroit. That, in the big scheme of things, guys, it's not a big factor into guys making a decision. It's a factor, but not as big as people try to make it out to be. Because if that was the case, we would have 10 teams in the league, possibly. And that's it.
Yeah, I don't know what the skip, but they should, because it does. If ultimately it's about collecting the most money, then you're not collecting the most money.
Well, you make your money after you get it. You make your money work for you.
Yeah.
If you don't make your money work for you, I don't care if you were not in a state. I don't care if you are in a state without a state tax. If you're not making your money work for you, it makes no sense. You can work here forever or play here forever.
Continue the discussion on the other side. Also, people weighing in on our text line as well. So more coming here on the DDC. But right now I want to talk to you about my friends at Cool Springs MD. You've heard me talk about them for years because they've been helping me for years. They've helped improve my quality of life, and I hope you want that. I've certainly enjoyed it. And as we get older, we know it gets tougher, right? It gets more challenging. And who doesn't want to be healthier and happier, especially the older we get? Maybe right now you're in that place where you've tacked on some unwanted pounds that you would love to shed. Well, weight loss management is important to them, and they've got programs and they've got products and they've got people that can help you get back on track and headed in the right direction. Rejuvenation, your appearance is important, and it gets tougher. as we age. Things start happening that maybe you didn't have to deal with before. Well, their staff will talk to you about PRP, hair removal, Botox, and finally hormone therapy. If you've not felt yourself lately, maybe this is the first time you've ever experienced this, you're like, what the heck is going on? Don't have the same drive, you don't have the same energy, maybe you feel a little bit off with experiencing mood swings. Well, get your levels checked. They tend to dip as you get older, and when they dip, it can affect you in these areas. And their experienced staff can talk to you about BHRT, testosterone, estrogen. They do it all. It's a state-of-the-art facility there in Cool Springs at 1642 Westgate Circle. If you want to learn everything about them, just go to their website, coolspringsmd.com, or you can always pick up the phone and schedule an appointment or a consultation by dialing this number, 615-283-7291. That's 283-7291.
Join ESPN 1025 The Game for the Music City Celebrity Golf Tournament. Benefiting Folds of Honor on May 16th at Hermitage Golf Course. Put your team together and come play with the athletes, musicians, and other local celebrities. The Music City Celebrity Golf Tournament. Sign up at theGameNashville.com/golf.
Now through April 14th, join a clean and spacious Planet Fitness for $1 down and only $10 a month. With tons of equipment and free fitness training, it's the perfect place for everybody to work out.
Even me, Mr. I can't sleep at night, so I keep dozing off during the day.
Especially you, Snoozy. You'll rest easier and feel fit-tacular.
Wait, how did you get in here?
Join in club or at planetfitness.com. $1 down, $10 a month, cancel anytime. Hurry, deal ends April 14th. See club for details.
Do you have a VA loan? In this housing market, homeowners with VA loans have access to a ton of instant cash. Willie Donick here. If you need cash for that home improvement or want to finally be credit card debt-free, how does a check for 80 or 90 grand sound right now? Loan Pronto is helping veterans every day get the money they need with a quick and easy, zero-cost cash-out refi with zero closing costs. With a VA loan, it's really cool because you can access up to 100% of your home's value. Use that money to pay off all your high-interest debt or remodel your kitchen, or both. Loan Pronto's all-digital process makes it fast and easy. They're doing loans with super low APRs, and they love working with veterans. In fact, Loan Pronto does zero down purchases for veterans buying a new home. Call now to see what your options are. Call Loan Pronto at 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780. Or go to loanpronto.com. 615-499-5780. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval.
At Lowe's, every pro is an MVP to us. It doesn't matter how big or small your business is. If you're a plumber, roofer, electrician, or remodeler, your business earns back when you spend, gets exclusive offers, and paint rewards. It all adds up to help drive your business. Join Lowe's MVP's Pro Rewards and Partnership Program today. Minimum purchase required. Earnings and paint rewards awarded as Lowe's e-gift cards. Exclusions, restrictions, and more terms apply. Valid through 12/31/22. See Lowe's.com/L/Pro Loyalty Terms. Subject to change. U.S. only.
ESPN's Turon Davenport breaks down the Titans like no other.
On the field chemistry, I don't think it's going to be a problem. It's just going to be a process.
Catch TD Mondays at 11, Thursdays at 3, and Fridays at 8. Plus, the Talking with TD podcast drops every Wednesday.
When you draft players, it's not just for one season, it's for a career.
Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, Nashville, this is Dan Lebitard. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 1025 The Game.
Seltzerland is turning Nashville into hard seltzer paradise. That'll be Saturday, April 30th. Riverside Golf Links. Enjoy one-of-a-kind immersive experience as you spend the day tasting over 100 unique hard seltzers, including mouth-watering munchies, tons of seltzer swag. Bust out the gram for the most Insta-worthy moments. Seltzerland has rounded up the best hard seltzer brands in the land for one epic dedicated to the bubbly brew everyone can't get enough of. Go to theGameNashville.com/contest to enter for your chance to win tickets to Seltzerland. My wife would enjoy that. She loves seltzer.
Seltzer.
Not for me.
You don't like it?
It's not for me.
Okay.
But she certainly does.
Hey.
She's all about it.
So I'm talking about.
I want to, there was one I wanted to start it with, and then I lost it. I kind of feel like I'm back to, and TSU will play Notre Dame yesterday.
past, present.
The bending of the English language.
Hey, we can do it, okay?
Time isn't real.
No, it's not. It's bendable.
Watch enough Twilight Zone to learn
exactly.
Let's see. And by the way, there's a lot of people that are agreeing that the Titans should be drafting a receiver and probably high.
Well, they can't go no. I guess. I guess they're talking about the 26th pick, unless the Titans trade and try to move up, which I don't think they will. But there are a plethora of receivers out there that they can get.
Okay, here it is on our text line driven by WilsonCountyHunter.com. Derrick Henry is our best player. This is an unnamed texter. Derrick Henry is our best player, but A.J. Brown is undoubtedly our most important player. We can win against the Rams without Henry. We can barely function against the Jets without A.J. What do you think about that?
Oh. Nah.
Can't go along with that?
Nah, I can't go with that. How quickly people forget. I tell you, it's just like the guy misses, 6 games, and you just kick him to the curb. It's like, how quickly do you forget? Believe me, again, without A.J. Brown, the passing game can't get going. It just can't. But it's easier to get the passing game going when Derrick Henry is in the backfield. Okay? Take Derrick Henry out of the backfield for the whole season. See what happens. See what happens. Go ahead.
No thanks.
Nah, I don't even want to see that.
Pass.
Absolutely. A.J. Brown loves when Derrick Henry's in the backfield. I would love a Derrick Henry. Hell, I love when Eddie George was in the backfield because you have to account for the guy in the backfield. Those top 7 guys, they gotta those 4 down linemen and 3 linebackers, or 3 down linemen and 4 backers, they have to pay attention to the guy in the backfield. Oh, by the way, then the safety has to pick his, peek his head in there every once in a while, because what you don't want to happen is Derrick Henry to get to going, and then once Derrick Henry gets to going, everything else opens up. So Derrick Henry is the most important person on this offense at this particular time, because he makes Ryan Tannehill's job easier. He makes the offensive line pass protection a little easier. And he makes A.J. Brown's job a little bit easier, because now I don't get, when Derrick's in the game, people have to be looking in the backfield. Why do you think the Titans were so great in play action? Because they would turn around and act as if they were giving the ball to Derrick Henry, and what happened? Linebackers jump, safeties jump, they run that short 12-yard dig, and A.J. Brown catches the ball on the run, and he breaks about two or three tackles, and he's in the end zone. It happened a lot. So, caller, I will, or texter, I will respectfully disagree with you that until I see some decline in Derrick Henry, he is the most important person on that offense.
Think about what you just said. This is what's jacked up about the running back position. I agree with everything you just said, and yet Ryan Tannehill, you just said Derrick Henry makes his job way easier. He gets paid $38 million a year. You just said A.J. Brown, probably $65 million guaranteed, $25 million a year. Well, that's just what receivers are getting. But yet you just made the case of how Derrick Henry is the engine to all of this, and yet running backs don't get anywhere near that.
No, because they take too much of a pounding. It's just the nature of the position.
I understand that, but I think I don't understand why their agents have not done, and the PA hasn't done a better job. This is not like in other sports where quarterbacks or running backs are getting 10-year guaranteed contracts. In the NFL, it allows you, as we've talked about, because it's the only professional sports league that doesn't have the guaranteed contracts. Basically, you have a jumping off point. You have a bounce out after a couple of years. And most of these contracts, you're not – there's guaranteed money, but teams can get out of these contracts.
Oh, of course.
So is that really a factor? He starts wearing down. His body starts breaking down. Starts the wear and tear. We get all that. These contracts are set up for you to bounce.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't running backs get more love in the league? Why do they not get paid like that? They're not even close to that. Not even close.
Because the league has gone from a run league to a passing league. And the onus is not on turning around and giving it to the running back anymore. Now, for every team, it's not like that. But for the majority of the teams, they don't have nobody has a Derrick Henry. But there are other teams that do have, some damn good running backs. So they can, Indianapolis has one, so they can turn around and give it to that guy. They can lean heavy on him. Honestly, Derrick should be the highest paid player on the Titans roster.
That's what I'm getting at.
He should be.
And he's not even
he's
close.
Not. But because he should be the highest paid because he makes everybody's job easy on the offensive line. On offense, period. So, but that's just 20 years ago.
Was he make like $12 million?
Yeah.
Isn't he like $12 million? So 12 and a half, something like that?
But his impact is worth more than that. And what he does for that team, it's valued more than $12 million. But because of the position, you're only going to get so much. And then it's not like you can sit here and, I ain't playing. Well, we see how that worked out for Le'Veon Bell. He was never the same running back.
Gave up $14 million.
Exactly. And never was the same running back. And I hate that for him. But everybody has leverage except the running back. Everybody. Except the running back. Well, minus like kickers and punters. I think even a good place kicker has more leverage than a running back. If you can get you that place kicker that can kick they can kick you a 60-yarder like it was nothing, then they got more leverage than a running back. And it's unfortunate because, to me, Derrick Henry, regardless of how his career goes from here on out, he's a generational running back. I don't care what anybody say. I'm just talking pure running back. He's a generational running back. You're not going to get too many that come out looking like him and run like him and affect a whole defense the way he does.
Well, to your point, it won't happen twice on John Robinson's watch. There's no way. Like you said, generation. I mean, those guys just don't come around every 5 years, guys like him.
Mm-hmm. Now, 20 years ago, it was different because they viewed running backs differently. Not to say that there was a Derrick Henry out there 20 years ago, but they just viewed him a little bit different. So teams were trying to get that next big running back 20 years, 25 years ago. Now they're trying to get 2 or 3, because they're trying to mix it up. A catching running back, a running back that can run between the tackles, a guy that can do a little bit of both. But you're not going to find a Derrick Henry, not too often. That's like the last Derrick Henry was Adrian Peterson.
I'm going to ask you on the other side to close things out. We've already talked about September, Labor Day weekend of 2023. TSU's going to Notre Dame playing South Bend. That is going to be right before the start of the 2023 season.
Mm-hmm.
I'll ask you a couple roster questions. Think about that on the other side. Will they be here? Will they not be here? I'll play that game to close things out on Wednesday's edition of the DDC ESPN 102.5 The Game.
From Fox 17 News, this is a Code Red weather alert.
I'm Fox 17 News Code Red meteorologist Dan Guthrie. Scattered showers and thunderstorms this afternoon and evening, some of which could be strong to severe, especially east of I-65.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
All right, you want to know how you can enjoy all your favorite sports like never before? You need to get the BetMGM app. Just sign up using the code 1025GAME, and your first wager is risk-free up to $1,000. So be like me, Chase McCabe. Get BetMGM because when you register, you'll get instant access to a variety of parlay selection features, live betting options, player props, and daily boosted odds specials. And with BetMGM at your fingertips, every play and every game will matter more than ever. Sign up today and find out why nothing beats a win at the King of Sportsbooks. Just download the BetMGM app or go to BetMGM.com and enter the code 1025GAME and place your first wager risk-free up to $1,000. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. 21 years of age or older to wager. Tennessee only. New customer offer. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. Rewards issued is non-withdrawable free bets or site credit. Free bets expire 7 days from issuance. For problem gambling support, call the Tennessee Red Line at 800-889-9789.
Middle Tennessee, you can count on an award-winning service team for all your home maintenance and improvement needs. Lee Company, we're A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau and trusted by thousands of homeowners in our community. Our team is ready to assist with all your home maintenance projects, heating and air conditioning, plumbing, electrical, appliance service, and more. Experience the convenience of calling one phone number for all your home maintenance needs. Call Lee Company today at 615-567-1000 or visit leecompany.com.
Finishing jobs on time, never being idle, and powerful equipment. Meade has the John Deere excavating equipment and the smart grade technology solutions for you and your business. Power your business with a new, used, or rented excavator and get the performance you expect and service you can rely on. Call us today for the equipment built as tough and reliable as you, or visit us at meadtractor.com. That's meadtractor.com.
Wasn't sure we'd get here, but we're here, folks. MLB opening day is here. Right now, all customers can swing for the fences with a no-sweat same-game parlay on FanDuel Sportsbook. Joe Rexrode here inviting you to pick any MLB game, combine at least 3 bets. Again, you got the winner, you got the point spread, you've got first home run hitter, you got over-under, whatever you want to do. One bet, bigger payouts. And if your bet doesn't win, FanDuel will refund you up to $10 in free bets. If you're not sure what to bet on, check out FanDuel's popular same-game parlays to see what most fans are betting on and get in on that action. There's no better place to bet America's pastime than on America's #1 sportsbook. Head over to your FanDuel account or download the FanDuel Sportsbook app and sign up using promo code Joe102 to bet your no-sweat same-game parlay today. Again, that is promo code Joe102. You must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is now drawable site credit that expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line. 800-889-9789.
Your ankles, feet, and knees help you walk, run, jump, and climb. Because of the stress placed on these joints, arthritis may occur, and lower limb injuries are common injuries treated by Houston Clinic Orthopedics. Their specially trained orthopedics can treat your pain non-surgically with non-inflammatory medications to reduce swelling and orthotics that support the pads, arch, or ankle joint. Your doctor may recommend a brace, custom shoes, or physical therapy as part of your treatment. Visit tn.houston.com to book an appointment for a physician to discuss your lifestyle, your goals, and determine the best treatment to fit your needs.
Inside knowledge on the Titans.
Todd Downey's got his notepad out right now, just writing things down.
Inside knowledge on the Predators.
They can go right into the forecheck, and boom, you get a beautiful goal from Colton Sissons.
And then there's a team in Knoxville.
How excited should Tennessee fans be by what they've seen from Josh Heupel in year 1?
Wake up and hang out with Robbie and Rexrode. Weekday mornings from 6 to 10. Brought to you by Little Guys Movers on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and The Game Nashville app. Watch live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. If you've missed any of today's show, just search Darren, Donick, and Chase on Apple, Spotify, or on your favorite podcast platform.
Join us here at 1025 The Game for the Music City Celebrity Golf Tournament, benefiting Folds of Honor. That'll be May 16th at the Hermitage Golf Course. Great place to golf for sure. Put your team together and come play with athletes, musicians, and other local celebrities. Sign up at thegamenashville.com/golf. I can't read that without kind of chuckling a bit. I believe our buddy Chris Sanders is going to be one of those celebrity golfers that people can team up with and play. And I don't think he can play with a hoot, so you'll have fun. And we certainly had fun with that conversation, right? And we'll probably have to get him on here soon because he is dying to roast me. I'm just saying. He is dying to get me. Because on Friday, he put out a post on Facebook. Did you see this? You know what I'm talking about?
I don't think I do, but go ahead.
That he was leaving. He was moving to Colorado. That's where he's from. If people don't know, Chris is from Denver. He's like, I'm moving back to Colorado. Well, I remember I called him on Friday, I think before the Preds game, and he didn't answer. And I was like, I believe in like the last 15 years, that's the first time Chris Sanders has not taken my call. And I was like, wow, he's really leaving. He's not even taking calls right now. He's gone. Well, over the weekend, I forgot about it. And on Monday, after the show, I was like, I had some calls I had to make. And I was like, you know what? I got to call that rascal. He didn't, I got to find out what's the story. Well, I call him. He answered. I said, what's up, man? It's like, you got anything you need to tell me? He's like, yeah. Moving back to Colorado. I was like, yeah. Colorado Chris, what's going on? Why are you moving back to Colorado? I did. I called him Colorado Chris. It's like, what's going on? Really? Like, what happened? He's like, I was like, how did this all come about? And he's like, I got a job with the Broncos. I was like, wow. I was like, that's cool. Like, how did that all happen? And he just starts busting out laughing. And I'm like, is that a funny question? Like, what's so funny about that question? I thought that was a pretty good follow-up. Like, how'd this all come about? He's like, Darren, that was an April Fool's joke. I was like, oh, my gosh.
He got you.
And he was crying. He's like, man, I'm going to give it to you the next time I come on your all's show. And I was like, well, I guess I deserve that. Yeah, you're right. I guess that was Friday. Dang it.
You didn't even think about it when you saw it that day?
No, I guess not. I guess not. So we'll have to have him on because he's going to have a little fun with that. Okay. Next, so September 2nd of 2023, which will be coming out of training camp, done with preseason, headed into the regular season. Will I or will I not be on the roster? Well, let's just go on and just
You won't.
No, I won't. That's the name of the game. That's the game we're playing.
I'm just messing with you.
Or will he or will he not be on the roster? How about that? Yeah, let's leave I out of it. That's going to confuse people. Well, yeah, duh. You won't be on the roster. Torn ACL. And you're slow. You were slow before that. Will he or will he not be on the roster? Ryan Tannehill. Let's just get right to it. Let's get to the meat.
I would say
yes or no, and why?
Because that's a twofold question for me, twofold answer for me. If they do indeed draft a quarterback, then I say no. But if they don't, I say yeah. But I'm leaning more toward no.
Ironically, Randy on our text line asked if we think that the quarterback from Cincinnati, if he's available, would the Titans move up and take him?
That would be a dilemma that I'm sure the Titans wouldn't want to be in, really, because now you got to make a decision. Do you draft your quarterback for the future, or do you wait? Because he's there. If you think he can be a really, really good quarterback in this league, then you don't pass up on those guys.
Well, Randy said, I forgot his name. It's Desmond Ritter, so you're talking about.
Yeah, it's Ritter. You don't pass up on those guys. I mean, if that was the case, Green Bay would have passed on Aaron Rodgers.
Well, let me give you my perspective on Desmond Ritter, since we haven't really talked about him much. If indeed they were to do that, I'm just going to tell you right now, it's because of the relationship between Mike Vrabel and Luke Fickell, right? The coach and coach. They're buds, big buds. So we've talked about this before. Coaches don't always sometimes you have to be careful who you're talking to, because if you don't have a real, solid relationship, solid. A coach is always going to talk up his players, right? They want them to go as high as possible, because guess what?
It's for the program.
They use that as a recruiting tool. They want their guys to go as high as possible. But if you have that really special relationship, like you're really close, Mike Vrabel can get with Luke and be like, hey, man, just me and you, man. There's no mics. There's no cameras. Just me and you. Well,
is he the real deal? Can he
give me the
cut
lowdown. Give me the lowdown. Give me everything. Right. Is he good enough? Give me his strengths. Give me his weaknesses. Give me the real story on Ritter. If they take him, then he has got the absolute ringing endorsement from the head coach of Cincinnati, period. Because the head coach of Cincinnati is not going to steer Mike Vrabel wrong.
No.
Now, we don't have any clue where he is on their draft board, and we don't know if they're like not going to draft. What we don't know. We don't know if they passed on him. But more than likely, if they didn't, or something was to come out, or they really weren't interested, it's because the way I would view that is, he told Mike Vrabel behind the scenes, hey, great kid, love this about him. I mean, if I were you, I probably wouldn't draft him. Or I wouldn't draft him in the first round. I wouldn't do it if it was me. Or, he probably belongs in about the third round, but he's going to go way, way higher than that. But that's just me and you talking. That's the way I would view that situation. I don't know if you would view it differently, but that's the way. Look, Fickell is not going to give the same talk to all the other teams as he's going to give to Mike Vrabel and the Titans.
If they draft him in the first round, then whatever he heard from Fickell was good
this
enough.
Kid's spot on.
Exactly.
You will love him.
Then I'm drafting him.
Yeah. I think the Titans have the inside edge. They're going to know the inside track one way or the other. It's either yes or no, but they're going to have the inside track over everybody else because of that relationship. No doubt in my mind. Now, I don't have a clue what that conversation, what was said in that conversation and truly where he is on their draft board. But I'm telling you, it hinges from that conversation to your point. So you're saying if they drafted someone in his position, that tells you everything you need to know.
Yep. It does.
Okay. What about his backup, Logan Woodside?
I think Logan's
We've been
job.
laughing for years, but he's there every year.
I think Logan's job is much more safer than Tannehill's.
That's why I asked, right? Like, we can laugh, but every year he's on the roster.
Yeah.
So will he be on the roster in September of 2023?
I think so. I think so. There's nothing telling me he won't.
Well, this is a fun game that we'll have to pick up tomorrow because I do want to ask you more and tell me, is he on the roster? Is he not on the roster? September of 2023. But that'll do it for our show today. Have a great rest of your Wednesday. Continue to be safe. We want you back with us tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock.